understanding, how to create value, these type of things. Those Booker T. Washington, very big point. And then you have Du Bois, and his outlook was, well, the slave was forced to not only understand the Western legal system, right, but like in many ways perfect it and utilize that same legal system to leverage its own freedoms, right? And he compared that to the American Indians, where the American Indians were kind of like, well, we have our own culture, we have our own society, we have our own ways of exchanging, we have our ways, and they did engage, with the early colonies and those types of things, but they saw who they were and what they were about had greater historical precedent in terms of their sustainability than these new ideas.
Okay, so what does that have to do with the president's trip to China?
So what I'm saying is that when we talk about the growth of like capitalism and these other mechanisms around the world, we understand like even though Iran can participate in capitalism, for example, right? Or other countries that have a dictatorship. If you haven't created a society that is focused and obsessed with perfecting the marketplace, that they want to create new businesses, they want to create new ideas, they want to find greater ways to provide more value at lower prices to compete with it. That's a worldview. That's an attitude. That's not just like, oh, well, we have people who do technical skill sets. We train so many engineers. I mean, that's not what we're talking about. We're saying like the fabric of the country is people thinking that. So even though these other countries, they could definitely participate in free market and they can invest a lot of money. They have a lot of tax, monies, and reserves, these type of things. They're not going to ever compete with the United States unless they adopt.
But they have in China. They have in China, and I don't know what that has to do with what the president. It's a great analysis. I'm not saying that that's not a good analysis. But the president is going to China, is in China right now. He's meeting tonight our time, tomorrow their time, with President Xi.
I wonder if the Southern Poverty Law Center funded him.
Just so that we are clear, China had.
Well, I don't know what Chud the Builder is known for or what happened here. I'm going to click the link. We are now on CNN. Live streamer Chud the Builder, known for posting controversial videos with racial slurs, is in custody after shooting incident.
John, just think of Pepe on the streets doing what he does on Clubhouse.
Exactly.
And John, I see your future here. We need to transition you from Clubhouse to the streets. Yeah. And have you start doing this. You're built for this. I don't know about the racial slurs. I don't think it's something new, but yeah.
Well, I would like to do a Clubhouse Live the experience and do like a private screening of like a clubhouse on a Friday, Saturday night from say, 5 to 10 p.m. Make it like a full experience with drinks. And basically, we just put Clubhouse up live on a big screen, and I'll be the host, and I just project Clubhouse into the auditorium for people to observe, passively as I navigate these Clownhouse streets.
You have access to an auditorium?
There's venues that I can rent that are nearby, but the thing is, how do I actually get people to show up?
That's kind of an interesting idea. So you stream us up on a big screen, and people can come into the auditorium, right?
Exactly. They will watch me on stage interacting with a big screen of Clubhouse.
We should do it. Try to figure that out. I think it would find it entertaining because people will pop in and go, what kind of,
No, the whole thing is the videos that I'll create of the experience of people watching me interact with. So the whole thing is just like film as many videos in the auditorium as possible.
Is it like Science Theater 3000? Remember that?
Exactly. It'll be like that. We will have that angle, yeah. That's already what I'm technically doing. Like, people, I got a compliment from a woman yesterday who says she went back through my Instagram accounts and watched like videos from years ago of herself. And she was like, I loved your commentary. It was so funny. She's like, you are so funny, and I thank you for filming all of that. And I was like,
No,
you're
that's
welcome.
actually good. You should get, cause you know in that stuff, they have the guy has another partner. Obviously, he's that little robot dude, but they're all human beings, of course. But maybe AI could actually be your partner, but you should do like a review of clubhouse rooms as they're going, so you can like, okay, here comes, Peter with his like just do like total like, because everybody knows the characters for the most part. Well, no, I mean, not everybody knows all the characters, but a lot of people would be interested in,
See,
who the characters are.
Anon lets you do that. Like right now, I'm in Gary Baumgarten's Critical Thinking Forum, and I have the news by John Kitover open and politically correct. So I'm like doing Mystery Science Theater 3000. I mostly just listen. I don't actually comment too much on what people are saying, but the liberal Democrat observational studies are always amazing.
Right. I don't know. I think there's a new angle to how all of this, like, it kind of is a new form of entertainment. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, let's be fair here. Like, there's a lot of people on this app who aren't serious people. I mean, let's just face it. It's just entertainment.
It is,
At
but
this point.
these rooms become bang rooms. But you're just a white banger. You're a white gangbanger because if you go to any other black room, it's all crash out all the time. Cray 3000, that guy does it. And those rooms are like, in my opinion, not mentally healthy. But, if you
For
can.
the sound, I hear John Morley system, but I am very impartial, I promise. You are not, I am just listening to you. But John is more racist in some.
I don't know what you said. I hope you're at the
They just call
gym.
you racist.
I think that's what he said.
He just insists on that word strongly, and that makes a sensation. You know?
Still losing me here.
Take it easy.
But yeah, anyways.
Are you there? John, you do need to work on some kind of. You need to totally reinvent media. I think you give a shot at it. I don't know what it looks like. I have to see what you're doing.
No, it's the Kill Tony tour. They're already doing what we're talking about. The Kill Tony tour and Joe Rogan and the Austin comedy mothership. They do these types of interactive shows, but nobody has like taken Clubhouse and made it into like a live show. It would be an experimental thing, and I'm willing to do it, especially if I like tie it into my Chicago mayoral campaign. So I will try to secure a venue and set all this up. It'd be nice to have like a projector, and I'm pretty sure I actually have all the stuff that I need to try. I could even broadcast it on the side of my house. That would be one way to do it.
That'd be funny. Yeah, I mean, all you need is some place to shoot it up on,
Well, I have this projector that you just put your phone into the projector, and then it literally projects your phone using mirrors and a light.
Yeah. It'd be funny, like, how, like, you can rent those things that project like on buildings, like even, like, I remember, like, the Twitter headquarters had that. They had people projecting things about during the campaign, I think, but, obviously, or they were mad at him moving. I don't remember what it was. It was something to do with Elon or whatever. So if you were able to like project something on like the Empire State Building or some building, if you did Clubhouse onto that, and I don't know if you could do audio on those big building things. I just realized that. I don't even know.
Yeah, I could have like two big speakers, Bluetooth. Yeah, I could do Bluetooth. Like I could have a big Bluetooth speaker tied to. All I need is two phones, the projector, and a Bluetooth, and then other cameras to record on tripods. I'm already doing this in my studio. This is the nice thing about doing it in an office, is you just contain it all in one office, and you don't do anything in the streets. You don't because in a way, this is like the really efficient way of creating media and content.
But like, how do you get 100,000 people? That's the goal, right? I mean, that's kind of the goal. I mean, like, just like you get like just a shit ton of people watching your shit, and just actually, if we're enjoying it, we're all still here. there's got to be a whole segment of people out there just like that aren't tapped into this. You know what I mean?
Well, the way
Well,
to
he has to start streaming. He has to like the Chet the Billy guy and all these guys. They're all on Twitch.
No, the way to spam this out is to recruit and hire influencers, which is pretty much local hot chicks that have 30,000 to hundreds of thousands of followers, and get them to actually project and spam and film and publish all this shit, which a lot of them probably won't do. But if they get paid to do it, guess what?
You can't.
They
Like,
do
you
it.
can't like on Twitch. You can't use the N word, right? Like, so that's the thing. Like if you have Pepe on the stage, like you would just get banned eventually, right? Is that how that goes? I don't even know these days.
Maybe he could bleep it out. Have like a
No, you can't bleep this stuff out. It's too toxic and it's too annoying. And actually, when I hear Pepe talking now, if I'm in another room, I run back here to my main recording studio and I actually turn the volume down and put something else on because personally, I'm just sick of hearing him, and I don't want to record him and keep publishing him because I think a lot of people know that I'm recording, and they actually step up their activity when they know that I'm recording.
They get you in trouble too. Like he's using rape lately a lot, so it's like that gets like really.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, to me, that's just. I agree with Edward last night on that. I'm like, dude, you gotta like just chill out on the raping thing. It's a little weird, you know. But I can see how he could
Just a little. I mean, he says he wants to kill hitchhikers and rape them in his van. Like he says all kinds of fucked up shit.
Well, he's type A, like, in the, like, Reddit, 4chan, dark web, Pandora's box, and so...
He says he came from the neo-Nazi streets of Discord. That's where he's from. The white trash Nazi ghetto of Discord. That's where he came from. That's where he was That's where he grew up. That's his mythology and his backstory.
Yeah, they mix in with a lot of incels, and then that's what they fall into. Like, rape becomes the thing that gets them off. You know what I mean? Like that's
it replaces all the other joys of vices. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. So I don't know what you do with that.
I'm sure it's just all for entertainment purposes.
It is all for entertainment purposes, but the sad thing is, I think the way that everybody talks and sounds and acts is really who they are, or at least who they're projecting who they are. And if that's what you're projecting all the time, well, Jesus Christ, you are one unattractive, unappealing, obnoxious, horrible, to quote Ache, horrible, terrible person. Hello?
Recording him because you could get him into a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
He hasn't done it.
That's why Bibi's so attracted to him.
Yeah, Bibi likes it.
No, I don't like it. I just think I don't think that's who he is. I think he just, he gets carried, he's either drunk or high when he's on Clubhouse.
Well, no,
And
you're
then
actually
he
right.
just
He
says
admitted.
things for entertainment
You're right.
value.
He admitted last night he doesn't do this, and like he's a completely different person on the app than he is in real life.
Praise
So there you go. You got your answer. You and John.
Information technology protection. Essentially, stop the Chinese from stealing our tech. I think all of those things would be a win. So I'll just leave it there. Thank you, Marshall. We'll go now to Mansef, followed by Marat.
Hey, thanks, Gary. There is not a lot of foundations from this visit, as all the analysis I read. The U.S. actually needs China right now more than China needs the U.S., and that's not a good position to go into a summit or a meeting and expecting to win. So the best case scenario that Trump can consider a win is to get China to buy more of our agricultural products, soybeans and all that stuff. But it's not like they're gonna increase their buy-in from what they were before. Selling soy to China has been a very great business until Trump came and destroyed it, starting with his first presidency, and then with this presidency, with the trade tariff wars and all that, our export to China from soybeans, anyone that can look this up, has been on a steady decline to the benefit of other countries. Anything that we don't sell to China, they turned around and made other markets that benefited from the horrible relationship that we had with them in this particular field. Brazil now is the main supplier to China. So if we only get back at 70, 60 or 70% of what we were selling them in the past, that would be considered a win, believe it or not. But that's something that we always talk about, Gary. You destroy something, and then, you put up a fire, and then when you show up and start, taking it down, you declare it a win, like you put up a fire. Forgetting that you're the one that started this whole damn thing. So, the delegation this time, the business delegation that there's a lot of talk about is much smaller than the 2017 delegation that went to Beijing. There is this view of the whole world that Trump is stuck in what Israel is doing with Iran. We don't know how to solve that crisis. Every single thing that we were.
That's possibly the situation.
So I just want to say, BB's like, BB is like, I could get Pepe in trouble. Well, I'm not trying to get Pepe in trouble. And the fact is, if Pepe gets in trouble, it's not because John Kitover got Pepe in trouble. It's because Pepe got Pepe in trouble. Hello?
Yeah, but sometimes people come on this app and for whatever reason they have the right to crash out from time to time, and it doesn't mean that we should somehow.
Okay, where's Mr. Edward? Where is Mr. Edward when we need him? Because you know what he would say? Personal responsibility, guys. Personal responsibility, guys. You know what personal responsibility is? That's right, personal responsibility, guys. The government isn't coming to save you. Personal responsibility, guys.
I control my life, and that's it.
For one more perfect union. Will you play one of those, please?
Oh, what did you want me to play?
In the chat, there's 2 links.
Has not been established.
Play this
He had this great. He always kind of comes up with this thing, bombastic stuff like this is the end of the world, and if by tomorrow at noon you don't do this, you're going to be obliterated to the Middle Ages, and then 48 hours later it's like, yeah, I guess we're going to take another look. We were told that the U.S. Navy ships are going to finally open the strait. That whole idea lasted for, I think, 24, 36 hours, and now we're back to ships moving.
Beautiful child that stands on the dragons of the deep, I invoke by thy name of Apollo, I invoke.
You just standing here while she works. Am I 12? I'm 28. 28 years old. No, I'm past your age. I'm past 12. 12? Isn't that a number like 12? Hey, homie boy. Hey, what is 12? I don't speak Ebonics. Oh, so you know who I am. Yeah, back the fuck up out my face. That's what I thought. Posture up. I really hope you want to. You want to step outside? Come on, nigger. Let's go. Come on, nigger.
Yikes.
Batteries and all that shit. So we quickly scrambled and went back. It's like, oh, okay, we'll do a truce. And it's been like, they agreed on a 12-month truce, which, with this visit is an expectation that the truce will be extended. So this is, again, what I said before, it's getting back to how things were before, and then when they say we're going to extend a truce and the tariffs are going to be lower, and China's going to keep selling us their rare earth minerals, this is how things were before. We destroyed it, we're going to fix a little bit out of it, and we're going to declare victory that we did it. So, there's not a lot of expectations. This is how I see it. This is how a lot of geopolitical analysts see it. I listened to a lot of news today from Europe, and people are actually laughing. Literally, news people are laughing at us. I mean, this is everybody's saying this is not the United States that we are used to, that is expected to be the strong power. We're being seen now that the U.S. president is going to basically beg China for a win that, like I said, is please let us get back to where we were before.
I'm trying to recall, but wasn't Obama disrespected by the Chinese when he went there? And wasn't there a lot of commentary about how weak he made the United States look? I'm going to have to...
Yes, there was. There were several articles written about how the United States was a paper tiger.
Right, because he got played. They did not bring even the stairs for him to go out the front of the Air Force One and walk out the back.
That's true. That is true. I remember that.
Yeah.
But that tells you, Gary, that when you have the second someone talked earlier about how China can afford to do a war. It's the largest army in the world with 2+ million servicemen. You can't ignore a power like that and say bombastic stuff that we gotta destroy China. China's gonna come back. No, China did not come begging when you added tariffs. They simply said fuck your sorry for the whatever buying soybeans from U.S. farmers. U.S. farmers declared bankruptcies or whatever. The United States ended up paying $29 billion to support the farmers. China won because they got their product elsewhere. We ended up, we ended up paying the price for that. And you just, that's not very, there is no diplomacy in doing radical stuff like that. So yeah, China is we love the United States. China is a formidable, adversary. Minimizing their power and hegemony on the world or whatever is only make us look, like fools.
Well, they are trying, as was expressed earlier, and not just in Africa, but in Southeast Asia in particular. They have been trying to expand their influence. I'll use this example.
Expand it back into traditional Chinese areas, places like I think Vietnam and Korea would be specific.
Oh, absolutely. All the way to Central America, Gary, and all that. I mean, all the ports in the world. I mean, that's been Marshall talked about it and how they do in Africa and all that, and how they, control the seaports, the infrastructure, how they, and they go build those hospitals and bridges, Marshall, and they don't even employ the local population. They bring Chinese people to work there because they want to employ their people. So, sometimes you gotta look at your adversary and not be foolish in thinking that you just had them before you actually do.
Thank you for that, Monsef. By the way, I mentioned very briefly earlier that there were the leaders of our high-tech industry participating in this summit, and William was kind enough to list the names of all of them, and they are all posted there on the main chat if anybody everybody's interested in seeing who is there with the president. I think waiting for that. Moran, followed by Daryl.
Hi, Gary. Hello, everyone. I understand the passion that Cartman displayed, and it is true that any form of anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism is abhorrent, but it has nothing to do with our China policy. And our China policy, if anybody has read anything from any reputable think tank, is the main strategic challenge to the future. If anybody reads even the Chinese writing, they know that's what they're planning. Their plan is to challenge us in the coming decades. So what we should be paying attention to is what CCP is trying to do, what sort of strategic challenge they have, and the main important thing, if anyone PTRs, I have replaced a map of Southeast Asia instead of my photo, and we see the first island chain, which starts from Malaysia, Philippines, goes through Taiwan and Japan, and the second island chain, which is further away. This is a plan to control and maintain Chinese expansionism, CCP's expansionism. If you read the military plannings that the Chinese have, their own writing, all their military is planning to break through this chain. And right in the middle of it is Taiwan. If you see right there is Taiwan. By taking over Taiwan, you're basically breaking the first island chain, protecting us from Chinese expansionism. This is what it's all about. I mean, if you look at what they're planning to do, that's the main important thing we should be thinking about. So this is something for the next decades, and it has nothing to do with any other policy that we may have. Now, going back to the question of the room, what is a win? Well, as Marshall said it, I agree, and now I think Gary mentioned it too. The most important thing is to manage the trade tensions we have with China. That's the most important thing, without giving anything about Taiwan. And if we get a plus, if we can have the Chinese to help us manage in Iran, that would also be a plus. Again, all of this has to be done without paying anything about Taiwan. And everyone is kind of scared because we all know the president is the man who can go off script. And we're all worried that, the Chinese, if anyone paid attention when he arrived, the Chinese put on a big show, sent their vice president, and as you guys said, Obama didn't receive this treatment because they know how to treat this president to get something out of him. So what I'm hoping, and everybody's hoping, that the president cannot go off script, pay attention to our strategic plans, and not give up anything on Taiwan. But if in the meantime he can manage to ease the tensions, trade tensions, and get some help on Iran, that would be a win. And that's all I have to say, Gary, and thank you for your good rooms.
Thank you. Of course, the problem he has with that is that he said he's hoping to get some help from China with regard to Iran, and then he backtracked and said, no, we don't want their help. We've got it well in hand in Iran. And so, is it a win if he gets that help, or is it a loss? Because he said, we didn't need it. I guess no matter what, this president has shown a remarkable ability to declare victory no matter what. So I guess it would be viewed by him as a win. I don't know whether we would view it as a win. I think so. I think if we can bring an end to the war in a manner that resolves the nuclear weapons issue, really resolves the nuclear weapons issue, I don't really care who gets the credit for it. And I guess maybe that makes me un-American based on what a previous caller suggested. And I don't know how he makes that comparison with other folks who have spoken here, that makes him un-American and hates America and wants America to lose. Because I thought that was the goal, to eliminate the nuclear weapons. I would like to see the goal to also be the removal of that regime. Thank you, Moran. We'll go to Daryl, followed by Armaze.
Hey, Gary. Just a couple of, you can give me some latitude, a couple of things. There was a caller, Black, who made some statements that are just factually not true. And, so Russia is China's largest single supplier of oil, not Iran. So, that's just factually not true. And America's economic power really, really hinges on the strength of the dollar globally. And I've said this in this room before, I've said this a million times before, that all China really needs to do right now, that I'll get to whether or not, because Pete didn't even show up to meet him, so I don't know how to interpret that just yet. All China really needs to do is kind of just hang back. There's this quote from Sun Tzu, The Art of War, never interrupt your adversary when he is in the middle of making a mistake, right? I think what the previous speaker just said about Taiwan is actually very important, because if you look at what we've been doing, over the past 13 months, right, we're looking to control energy, oil, natural gas in the Western Hemisphere. We're talking about invading Cuba. What some don't know is that Cuba actually does have oil and natural gas. I think Cuba produces a significant amount of oil per day. It's not great oil, but it is still oil. And if you were to look at this from a perspective of like global geopolitics, right, and just hemisphere control, if the idea is that OPEC nations, because I don't know if you saw yesterday, but Trump basically said screw OPEC, right? So, which I don't think was bright. I think he has no filter. I think no one can actually control what he says, and the ramifications of it be damned. I would hazard to guess that in some way we are preparing for the end of the petrodollar. And I think what we're looking to do is, okay, well, if the petrodollar ends and we can't force the sale of oil in dollars, then we need to be controlling the oil. We need to control oil in the Western Hemisphere. Not only oil, but we need to control natural gas in the Western Hemisphere. Because the previous caller who mentioned something about like China and whatever, I guess they're not familiar with BRICS, right? Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and now, tangentially, Iran. There is already a consortium being formed that is looking at the next 30 years of global energy supply, and that does not include the sale of oil in US dollars. I mentioned in your room the other day that the UAE, before they bailed from OPEC on the last day of the month, last month, they had already reached out to us and said, look, if we can't fix this Hormuz thing, we're going for our own survival. We're going to have to start selling oil in yuan. So that means that playing card is now on the table, and that playing card is also now on the table for the other OPEC countries. So all China really needs to do is kick back and watch how this progresses. It's very important. I think more and more people are going to start to realize this as our economy really tanks. And again, I think China doesn't have to do anything but hang back, because they are the world's manufacturer. And I think Trump taking these tech execs to China was probably the best thing he could have done, because like a previous caller said, he can't get in a room and talk this stuff with these guys. He needs Tim Cook and Musk and all these other guys, because the future is going to be about rare earth minerals. And that means the future economy is going to be based on rare earth minerals. And China China controls a significant amount of rare earth minerals, and if they were to go into Taiwan, then it's going to become this, okay, you have the oil, we have the rare earth. I don't see any scenario where there's actually a conflict, like a kinetic conflict with China, because it's just not necessary. To the question of what is a win? I don't know what a win could look like. I think, Pei not showing up to meet him today, I don't know how to interpret that. I think he, this wasn't like a G20 meeting or anything like that, but him talking for the past couple of days about how he was going to see his buddy, how he's going to see his friend, and Pei's a strong dictator and he rules like 1 billion people with an iron hand. Those are his words. I'm parsing, but those are actually Trump's words. And he shows up and Pei doesn't meet him. I don't think he likes things like that, because I believe he likes to be seen as the biggest guy in the room. But hopefully the smarter guys that he took with him are focused on the future of business with China.
So the New York Post, which is not adversarial toward the president, their headline is, China made a choice in its airport greeter for Trump in Beijing. President Trump arrived in Beijing without a tarmac greeting from President Xi, but the apparent snub was actually an upgrade from his last welcome in 2017, according to an expert. That's the way they're spinning it. It's actually quite revealing from a protocol perspective, said Isabel Vladoy, founder of the U.S. Institute of Diplomacy and Human Rights. Xi Jinping did not personally greet Trump at the airport in 2017 either, but this time Beijing noticeably upgraded the reception by sending Vice President Han Zheng along with both ambassadors and senior foreign affairs officials. He does appear with a grin on his face, but I think you're right. This is really not what he probably anticipated or wished for. There is a red carpet. So it's a massive upgrade from the way Obama was treated.
And it's a way of taking a dig at someone who you know has a massive ego, who probably wanted the press and the photos of him being met at the airport by another head of state. I'm a head of state, he's a head of state. He's a dictator, I'm a wannabe dictator. This is how I want to be dictator. I'm being facetious, Gary, so don't hold me to that. I'm simply saying these are the little things that get under his craw, and I think China knows that.
Thank you, Daryl. We'll go to our maids, followed by Andrew.
Good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Gary. This is, I gotta laugh. When I look at that, for Trump, what constitutes a win, I think he's going to do what he did in the Middle East. He's going to try to figure out how he's going to make money. It's got nothing to do with the U.S. He's looking out for himself. And China knows that. China knows that all they have to do is stroke his ego, and they're going to have Trump in his pocket. Thank you for the mic, Gary.
So that's an excellent perspective with regard to, or analysis with regard to the Chinese perspective. But what about from the U.S. perspective? What can the president come back with that he can declare a win?
Well, I think that if he had some kind of agreement with China that they were going to help manage Iran or something along those lines, I think that would be a win for the country.
Okay, thank you, Armaze. We'll go to Andrew, followed by Jerry.
Good afternoon, Gary. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Sorry about that. I was managing the room and couldn't grab the microphone.
Yeah, I'm not sure what would constitute a win. I don't think it really matters to Donald Trump. He'll sell it as a win, whatever it is. I think, with the tech bros going over, that could possibly be a good terms of investment flowing that way to some degree. But I just want to point out that when Donald Trump went there in 2020, I think it was January that year, he came away with 3 or 4 MOUs, memorandums of understanding. One of them was for $200 billion. One was $78 billion for West Virginia, I believe, which is more than their GDP that year. That was for power and gas and some other issues in West Virginia. But really, the proof is always in the pudding, and unfortunately, those memorandums of understanding, the real investment has fallen much, much shorter than what was to be understood. So if he comes away with those again, he may waive them, much like Chamberlain waived his little paper in coming away from Berlin. But if they don't follow through, then you're stuck with nothing, really. And China's not a reliable trading partner. We've noticed that here in Canada over the years. They retaliated against us by kidnapping 2 gentlemen, 2 Michaels, as they're famously called here in Canada, and held them for over 2 years in prison in retaliation for us holding the telephone executive lady, I can't remember her name, in Vancouver at the behest of Donald Trump and the administration for violations of whatever trade rules that she was accused of violating. And then, of course, they tacked on canola as a bargaining chip as well. So they're really a tough nut, China is. And I'm not sure what you can expect in real tangible results that will bear out, I suppose. But I do believe that whatever he comes back with, he will pronounce a win on that. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you. I think it was Gerald that was talking about how the president may view with admiration the way Xi runs his country. Just want to give you a little insight. A friend of mine who sadly died because he was waiting for a kidney transplant and it never came. He was a longtime correspondent, U.S. correspondent, foreign correspondent in China. And at the bureau where he worked, he had assistants, Chinese national assistants. Well, the assistants came from a pool provided by the Chinese government. So he had no choice but to hire minders. And that's what they were. It wasn't that they didn't do their jobs and didn't try to arrange interviews and act as fixers, as the saying goes in my business, where a local will go and talk to folks and try to clear the way to get you in for the interviews. Those are called fixers. They did their jobs, but their other job was to report back everything that was discussed in the bureau, all of his movements. If he wanted to travel outside a certain radius from where he was located, he was forced to get a permit from the government, and the government would, they accommodated him by providing him a guide. Well, obviously that guide determines who he could see, what he could talk about. The people who are talking to him mind what they say very carefully, because this so-called guide is there in the room constantly. That's the way a totalitarian government, which apparently is something that this president admires. That's how they run their governments. Amir, followed by William. Amir, yeah, you're up.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Gary, for the opportunity. Probably I'm just going to echo some of the sentiments that's been expressed already. What constitutes a win for Trump? I think if Trump could convince President Xi to pull the plug on the regime in Iran, that would be a massive win for him. But the question is, what kind of sweetener would have to be dished out to President Xi to convince him of that? Now, the fact that a whole host of tech giants are accompanying Trump, it could be that the sweetener is actually to roll back on some of the tariff wars that's been going on. I don't know the exact details of that because I don't live in the US. But perhaps to shift some of the even manufacturing that was pulled back, maybe not too technologically sensitive stuff, but more of a less techy manufacturing to help with China's unemployment. I'm just thinking aloud here, really. But the jewel in the crown for Trump, I think, is to sort out the situation in Iran. He would be able to, he would probably stretch as much as he could to achieve that and to get Xi on his side on that. Can I just say one thing? I think someone mentioned about the relationship between China and Iran. I think a lot of people have got that wrong. From what I understand, it's a pretty one-sided relationship, and it's all in favor of China. I know for decades they were making the cheap oil. Obviously because of sanctions, and of course in place of that, they would just ship over, shall we say, second-rate goods, and some military stuff, of course. So my point is, there is no real strategic relationship between Iran and China would be willing to, given the right price, to drop Iran. That's what I would imagine.
So I would imagine the right price would be another source of oil, and theoretically, Amir, that could be from Venezuela, and theoretically,
We've seen these pranks
the
where
titular
motherfucker will walk
president
up to a man and a wife in a grocery store and grab the wife by the hands and try to mac on her in front of her husband just to see what her husband does, right? Those type of pranks. Though I don't appreciate that type of shit because I say, hey, if they get whooped, then hey, that's what the fuck they deserve. And I've been saying this shit for a few years. One of these days, these pranksters are going to get shot. Somebody's going to get fucked up. And there was a prankster that got shot.
Adrian, you sound a lot like my black friend who said I was going to get punched in the face. And I was like, I'm ready to go to heaven. And my friend was like, man, somebody going to punch you in the face.
John?
Yeah, so, when I see pranksters out in public doing these skits or these acts and shit, provoking people for no fucking reason.
Venezuela or
Yeah,
other places, and in place of it, play ball with what Trump wants to do in Iran.
Thank you for that, Amir. We'll go to William, followed by David.
Hey, everybody.
Economic zone to encroach upon Vietnam, the Philippines, and Malaysia, and other countries in the 9-dash line, I don't have a graph of it open right now, but the 9-dash line is a pretty critical area where countries with whom the United States has alliances has an adversarial relationship with China, and so we have some incentive to try to maintain some alliances. The economic the oil imports from China, I pulled up a chart of it, are pretty well diversified between Russia, Saudi Arabia, Malaysia, Iraq, Brazil, UAE, Oman, Kuwait, Canada, but a lot of it's not just Iran, but a lot of the oil that they import does come through primarily the Straits of Hormuz. So China, from a strictly business perspective, China's not like adversarial in the way, nobody in China's chanting death to America, death to Israel. That's not their thing. They're more about business. And whether you want to get into capitalist or not capitalist, they have a mixed economy to some degree, but they have actual real needs. They have to import their oil. They don't really make their own oil. They have to import their fertilizers. They need that to feed their own people. They actually have a water problem, especially in the northern provinces of China, where they're really parched. So they actually need better access to water. And some people have argued that they are, along with sort of the
so it's kind of like it's a weird kind of situation.
philosophy.
I hear what you're saying. I'm not endorsing what he does. I think it's an idiot.
Yeah, you see them walking away, but still antagonizing people.
Hello?
But I'm like, I think okay, on the scale of all the people that are out there, I think he's, in my opinion, and I'm not getting some heat for it, he's still fairly harmless and all the shit he does. But
he's threatened to shoot people before.
Well, I mean, I guess that's true too. But obviously, if someone threatens to shoot him, it goes both ways. I don't know. Like, this is real. This part, all this stuff is really interesting.
It's entertainment, but the truth is, if you want to do so.
I'm not gonna ask you again. I'm not gonna ask you again. I'm asking you to remove Liberty's profile from your picture from your profile. Would you please do that?
All right, for you, Bima, I will.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just don't know who was Adrian just talking about.
Oh, I was talking about that Chud the Builder guy that goes around calling black people the N-word and stuff.
I have no idea who this person is.
Well,
Gary is for an intrigue.
Bima, this is John. I just removed Liberty's photo from my. Could you put me in the queue, Bima? Thank you, Bima.
Okay, John, thank you. Please don't do that in the middle of me speaking. I don't know what the fuck, you guys are talking about with the shooting. I don't know, man. I've been at work all day. Can you just catch me up to speed?
Yeah, but we got. Go ahead. Whoever wants to.
Oh, no, I was going to explain to her, but if you got it, you can go right ahead and
Yeah, Bima, if you could acknowledge my existence and.
I've been at work all day. Can you?
No, what are you doing?
I'm asking to be put in the queue. That's what I'm asking for, moderators.
John, doing a recap, trying to help people out that are new here. Come on, man. Well, I'm not going to do it. Bima, go ahead and just do it. You actually know more details than I do. I just got home and was sketching it myself. But go ahead, Bima.
Yeah, thanks. I'm new to this, so anything that I say, it's potential for error, so we can all correct each other and learn from each other as we go. But I understand there's a guy in each other building.
Coming to an agreement with China on all these other important issues, we also changed the tariff policy, which has changed hundreds of times. It keeps going back and forth and back and forth. But if he can back out gracefully from the tariff policy and pull that away, that would be a win. If he can get an agreement, and I don't know if this can even be made public, but if he could get their help, an agreement to pressure Iran to open the Straits of Hormuz, China does have a relationship with them in a way that we don't, and it would also benefit our other allies in the Persian Gulf, because I think, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar, UAE, they're all getting a little pissed off that their access to get their oil out of the Suez Canal has been disrupted, and it's damaging the world economy. So I don't know if it can be made public. It's just some things have to be actually handled quietly and diplomatically, but that's something that Trump might achieve that would, in reality, be a win for the United States and a win for the world, because it would get us out of a base losing situation. Because I don't think I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I wish we could have made regime change for the Iranian people, but I don't see it happening. And I think we're kind of in a quagmire right now, and we'd be better off to be out from an American point of view. But that's a possibility, because a lot of Trump's voter base, a lot of the Trump MAGA base, is really pissed off about the going back on the no new wars, and this is what looks like it's a very expensive potential quagmire. So that could be a win for Trump in reality. How he would announce that, what he's going to announce, I have no idea. But whatever it is, whatever he comes up with, he'll announce it as a win. Another win that might come out of it is with lessening tariffs and reopening free trade. He's got all those really competent tech guys with him and other captains of industry, somebody from Visa, somebody from various banks. That's something that can open opportunities in a way that Trump can publicly declare as a win that would benefit our economy. So, that remains to be seen, but that's my guess about, what he can publicly say is a win, and what is privately maybe going to happen that we're not going to know about right away, or maybe we will. Who knows? Because Trump is pretty impulsive. So he might have a secret deal that he negotiates and then put it on the Truth Social or Twitter or whatever. So those are my thoughts.
I did want to make, not for you, William, but just like a simple correction. I was talking with my friends who used to live in China and then came to the United States for college schooling. Apparently, the Chinese diplomatic protocol is usually for the foreign minister to meet the head of state, not for the vice president to.
I read something about that also, and I think this is keeping with protocol. That you don't expect to have your head of government, your head of state, going down to the airport like an errand boy to do that kind of meeting. And this is just consistent with prior protocol.
Well, so the other point this person made was that sending the vice president of the country.
And if you decide to, reach out your arm.
Hey, Coco, I hate to interrupt, but moderators, if you could put me in the queue, thank you.
You're in the queue, John, right after Coco. Jesus, why do you keep doing
I
this?
thought I was next.
Oh, wait, sorry, John was waiting. Go ahead, Coco. It's just really annoying, John, honestly. Bro, you sit at home all day. You just got on the app. Can you chill?
No,
So,
just
yeah,
like
you
if
can
I'm
say,
actively engaged in activities with you, just
yeah.
tell me what's up.
Even
Like,
if I
don't
went in
conceal
and I
things from
said
me.
just a bunch
Because
of
that's when
egregious,
problems
really
start
nasty
occurring, and I'm not there to be
comments
manipulated.
public,
Concealing is
in
not
my
just
state,
what point do they need to tell you this just out of nowhere?
Fuck your
Versus,
mother,
like,
your bitch,
I guess what I'm
blah,
saying
blah,
is
blah,
I'm choosing to be more of a hermit
bitch,
than
all
to
this
like
kind of
meet
stuff,
more
right?
people at 43.
like
it
I
wouldn't
am
matter.
more
The judge would
discriminating
look
in discerning,
at
not
you
discriminating in
and
terms
reach your
of
hand out
race
and
or
decided
sexual
to,
identity or
punch
political
me in the
identity.
mouth for that,
You know,
and
if
you
I
would be
ask a
charged as the
liberal,
aggressor
hey,
because you
you know,
decided
I'd
to
like to
start
take
with
you to
the
dinner
physical
and
violence.
give you a
And
gift.
from what
Do
you
you know
have
what
told
the number
me,
one
here's
response is on
this random
what is the
guy.
gift? Like, and then I ask you,
Yeah,
what do
maybe
you
he said
want?
some like,
Guess what the number one response is?
you know,
Well, you went way off the question because I asked if it matters to you. You said
I'm not
no.
condoning,
Just wanted to be transparent, but
you know,
about,
racial
again,
slurs
if
or
you
whatever,
have a
but,
friend who is male, at what
the guy
point does he need to
decided
mention
to
that
become
he's
the
gay if he
aggressor
happens to be gay?
when
At what point
placed
should he
his
just say it
hands
out
on
of the blue?
Chud the Builder.
No, I would never expect
Was
or,
he being
you know,
provoked?
request anybody
Yes, he
to
was being
disclose
provoked.
something like that. It's
But,
just,
I mean, these are
I'm
like,
just
there's a
saying that,
difference
like,
between
you
morale
know, I
and legality.
appreciate
These are
transparency.
two
I
different
never
things.
actually ask
And
any
also,
details about
another
somebody's
thing,
personal life.
this is
Like,
a
I
good
just don't
question
care
you guys should,
because
I think you guys
I
should
am with that person
about.
for specific purposes, which is to
I
like
believe
meet
in
women,
most states
to
it's
have fun,
illegal to record
you know, to
someone
be
without their
artistic,
consent.
but not gay.
So I don't know,
And,
that
you
might
know,
change things around if whoever's representing these
this,
people,
you know, woman at the bar the other
decides
day
to, you know,
who has a husband,
pressure that.
she was
That's all I got.
accusing me of being gay. And I was like, well, if I was gay, you know, I'd be upset about what you're saying to me right now. But since I'm not gay and confident and happy, like, you know, very funny. Ha ha. Can you touch your toes? Can you take a deep breath? And all I'm saying is when you look at my hairy armpit, because my armpit looks just like that, you know? I mean, I could take a photo right now and you'd be like, yeah, you can't tell the difference whose armpit that is. Maybe you could tell by my muscular, physical exoskeleton, but...
What was the point of putting the picture? Do you think you were calling Liberty out or something?
Nah, she kept telling me to adjust my PTR, so I just screenshotted the pity. Not out of, like, mockery, but just like, you know, hey, look at that pity. Because pits. You know, does anybody here ever get skin tags on various parts of their body? Because I recently had a skin tag on my pity, and I picked it off. Yeah, skin tags are gross. Like, do any of you rubber band your skin tags? Go to the dermatologist? Like, I've tried to see a dermatologist for so long, and it is so hard to see a dermatologist. It's like impossible.
I've been waiting for this. I have a question. At what point should the marriage came out and saying, okay, we're waiting for this guy to either get shot or shoot somebody. And sure enough, it happened. But I was up before he got on screen and started to shots. But
Hold on. I have a question. So, let me know if I get the series of events fucked up. So he comes out of the courthouse. He sees these people praying or saying something about it. He approaches them, starts a dialogue. And then soon after that, altercation happens. Because he's walking away, and then an altercation happens. During that altercation, he pulls his weapon and shoots someone. Not only shoots someone
just
else,
like if
but
I'm
he shoots
actively
himself.
engaged in activities with you, just tell me what's
Pause right
up.
there.
Like, don't conceal things. If I'm actively engaged,
That means he had his gun on him when he
that
walked
you're
out of the courthouse
thriving,
or was in
you're
the courthouse.
exceeding.
How the fuck did he have a gun in the courthouse?
If you're
Did they allow him to have a gun in the courthouse?
I just don't know what infrared is versus any other song of it.
No, it's the cheaper version. It's the cheaper version of a sauna because when you heat a sauna, it takes tremendous amounts of gas or electricity, but the infrared is its own source. So, in my opinion, infrared is thriving.
When he
Exceeding.
left, they gave it back to him. I'm not discounting your thing. I mean, what you're saying is they let him into the courthouse with the gun. That's like it's all formatted.
I'm assuming that he had already had his gun on him when the altercation happened and before the altercation, which means he had already his firearm on him in the courthouse.
I can explain that. So in Texas, specifically, I don't know about where he lives. I think he's in Tennessee. But in Texas, Texas, they have like storage lock boxes. So if you come in with a firearm, you can actually lock it in the lockbox before you go through a security checkpoint. And then they give you a key that's the only key that can open that. They have like a master key that can open it. But they give you a key and then you hold that key and then you can reholster your firearm.
Look, as far as free speech goes, the Supreme Court is clear about this.
No, just like if
actively engaged in activities with you, just if I'm actively
depending on
Time is when it's open in places, location that it's available and accessible to the general public, and manner is a manner that it's not disruptive.
Yeah. So that's the issue. So if as far as him in general, if he's being disruptive in some way, you know, and the video and the guy that Dima played, you know, he could say this. I'm just going to 7-Eleven trying to get a drink, and this guy's harassing me. Then it's not
The head of state, not the vice president.
and that's one of the three things. So
The head of state, not the vice president.
John wanted to go.
The head of state, not.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, this guy who uses the N-word in this very vulgar way, who happens to be in this horrific, incident, people are, see, Clubhouse is a very small community compared to, like, the YouTube community and these guys that technically, like, have their own platforms and followings. And it's unfortunate that, American men or Canadian men or Australian men or European men happen to find this type of content entertaining. And I follow so many Instagram accounts and I see such horrific violence on Instagram on what I would call, like, shadow accounts that, like, I don't know how else you see these videos, but a lot of it is just criminal activity. And it's shocking the violence that is on Meta, on Instagram. But it is basically social and societal violence. And it's horrific, beyond horrific. But I would also just point out, as somebody here who engages in political communication, that your security and your well-being is important this summer. And just the other night, I had 2 people on my property who were probably homeless and intoxicated and up to no good. And they were trying to steal shit, and they were doing all kinds of shit. They were going through alleys and picking through cars and trying to go into this building over there. I mean, they were having a good old time in my neighborhood, and I was observing them, and I called the police. And the police showed up late by the time, they had made their getaway. And I'm just telling you that you can become a victim this summer. And Clubhouse, this little security briefing, which is something you usually do before an event, is to say, hey, practice situational awareness. But the real situational awareness is not just your physical security, like if you're on a train or a bus or somewhere like that. What I'm trying to tell you is Clubhouse physical, cognitive security is what Elon Musk calls it. And in my opinion, listening to racist, vulgar, profane hate speech for days and weeks and months on end, to me is a waste of my life, my existence. And I'm just warning you all as users of this app, and this app will probably shut down eventually because you see no advertisements, right? You see no, like, real subscription. I mean, let's just look at the pluses in here. Let me look at the pluses. I don't see any pluses. Wait, Bima and Nye are the only people paying for this. Anybody else? Nope, that's it. So 2 out of 15 people actually pay for this content. That's not good odds for an app.
Oh, here we go. So in
those districts ad nauseum.
Ad nauseum, absolutely. And particularly if it's being ran in the face of even higher gas prices than we're facing now. So, the Republicans are going to have to somehow find a way around that. But Gary, the win here also, I think, is involving, can China bring Iran to heel on some level with our military and our economic might? Can China carve out enough of a win with us to do Trump's bidding backdoor-wise and try to help everybody save face here? Because, buying that much oil, that deal that they cut with Iran would absolutely go up in flames and be one less
as oil sorters for them. We saw how we checked on Venezuela. So, I know China's got a stockpile of about 4 months of reserves that they're sitting on. That gets burned up really quick. It won't match the economy like theirs to churn. So, I think
Judicial proceedings are in progress.
we'll wait for
This applies regardless of whether you have a handgun carry permit or a carrying under Tennessee's permitless carry law, which allows eligible adults 21 and older to carry handguns openly or concealed in most other places. So whether they have lock boxes or not for you to put your firearm in, you can't bring that motherfucker in there regardless. Period. Full stop.
Yeah,
under Tennessee law.
Yeah.
So back to the observation. How the fuck did he walk out of a courtroom or enter a courtroom and get into an altercation with someone outside the courtroom and produce a firearm? Where was that firearm the whole entire time he was in that courtroom, in the courthouse?
Good question.
So, because he didn't go to a vehicle and retrieve it, he got into an altercation after he came out of the courthouse.
Well, that,
so that means, logically, that means he had that firearm on him when he wasn't supposed to have it on him.
Yeah, but what you're missing, Adrian, is that if you, when you get to the security checkpoint, if you say, I promise on a holy stack not to do anything bad with this gun, then they let you in with it. That's
Right.
That's awesome.
Right. I wonder, so if he was at the courthouse, that was probably for his resisting arrest charge that happened a couple of days ago. And also fleeing the bill on a $400 tab. So this guy's having a shitty week.
Right. So he was there for whatever official court proceedings.
Three charges.
Yeah. So where the fuck did he produce this firearm from?
That's interesting because it makes it more sketchy. We can't verify whether he had it on him in the court or not. But there's two case scenarios. One, he either did have it on when he went into the courtroom, or two, worst case scenario. This is the worst case scenario. He went out of the courtroom. He went to his vehicle. He retrieved it.
Yeah.
Then went and
antagonized people.
Which, if you watch his videos, he's always walking to his car. Like he's always once he gets into it with someone, he goes to the car, I guess, to, like you said, retrieve the weapon. So this may have been. I can't wait to see these cameras.
An antagonistic action that he did on purpose because he understood. Hey,
yeah, but Adrian, it's legal. That's this is the thing. Like with the ACLU back in the '70s, there was a bunch of neo-Nazis. Like Nick Fuentes types and fucking Shot the Builder that wanted to march in Indiana through a Jewish Holocaust survivor community. And they wanted to carry signs like saying, fuck the Jews, you won't replace us and all that kind of shit. And the city there in Indiana said, no, you're not allowed to do that. That's fucking, that's racist.
It's legal that he did.
So they said that it was anti-Semitic and that they weren't allowed to do it. So they restricted the neo-Nazis from doing this. And the ACLU, who was predominantly Jewish and founded by Jews, actually defended the Nazis and said, hey, the Nazis are allowed to fucking march through here. It is fucking hateful rhetoric and we disagree with it, but they're allowed to do that. So as long as you're not doing a call to action, if I say, I'm going to get my fucking gun and shoot you in the fucking face and I'm not in fear for my life, that's illegal. But if I say, hey, I wish you'd get shot in the face, that's 100% legal. If I say nigger to you on the fucking street and you attack me and I feel that my life is in threat and in danger, I have the right under stand your ground to
wait, hold on. What are you arguing is legal or not? Because my whole point
it is legal.
No, listen to what I'm saying. I think we're talking past each other, respectfully. My whole point was, where the fuck did he get the gun from?
Adrian,
I either got it from his gun or they had a spare lockbox on it.
Adrian, I just put it in the chat. Under, you can see it there. Under Tennessee law, the sheriffs provide lockboxes for you to do it. So it wasn't like...
Yeah, you come in, you say to the security guard, you say, hey, I have a firearm on my 3 o'clock position, it's in a holster, do you have a lockbox? They say, yeah, we have these boxes over here. we'll give you take the key out after you secure it and lock it. Then you take the key with you inside to the courthouse and stuff. And then when you come back out, you stick the key in and you turn it. You take your pistol, put it back on, and you walk out. It allows for people to still have their Second Amendment right,
Yeah,
but they're not allowed to have it past security checkpoint.
Yeah, I don't think he would have gotten past security.
No, not at all. I mean, unless it was like a polymer ghost gun or something, it was all polymer or something.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, Adrian. It sounds fishy to begin with, but yeah, I mean, there would have
like
to
New
be
York or California.
there would have to be a huge breakdown in security for him to get into the court with a gun.
Yeah, he did. Well, I mean, he didn't enter past the security checkpoint.
Also, why are we saying that his, like, because he has a partner with him all the time for his streams, why wouldn't the partner just give him the gun?
Yeah, he did. His partner had the gun and holstered it in his secondary holster.
Yeah, wait for him to come outside, give him the gun back to his holster, and off he goes, you know?
I think the main point about all this is because you guys put in the questionnaire, you know, can a racist provocateur claim self-defense if a person decides to attack them? Yes. I mean, if you're standing out screaming, Edomite, fucking demon dogs, Black Hebrew Israelism shit, and I come over and start fucking wailing on you, and the Black Hebrew Israelite thinks that I'm trying to fucking kill him and he's fearful of his life, he has the right, even after saying that I'm a fucking demon and a dog, to pull his pistol out and fucking drop around at me in certain states. Like Tennessee, Texas, you got standing ground laws. If you're in fear for your life, you can use deadly and violent, defense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's shitty. The guy's immoral. He's a piece of shit. Yeah, the guy's a piece of shit.
I don't think it's I don't.
No, I defend like the ACLU. I defend his right to do and say whatever he wants. I would never in a million years want the ACL. I would never in a million years want the government to stop Black Hebrew Israelites or Black Panthers or neo-Nazis or even fucking Jewish supremacists to restrict their lives.
But you can't just start like running up to people, punch them in the street and expect something back. I mean, what are you doing?
Especially if the person fears for their life. I mean, if a person comes and slaps you on the face and then runs away and you shoot them, that's one thing. But if they're just fucking teeing off on you, ground pounding you, I mean, this is why we had the George Zimmerman.
Well, my thing is, if you're going to use the fear for your life defense, why are you provoking about identity?
Well, all you have to do is prove it, Nye.
Why are you bothered? But we can prove motive by
Do you want to restrict the Black Panthers?
We're not talking about the Black Panthers.
No,
the Black Panthers can walk around calling white men.
We're talking about the same thing, though.
Provoking white men into beating their ass. It's completely different, right?
Yeah, but
Black Panthers can go around harassing white people.
They went into the courthouse. They went into the state. Oh, actually, no. Actually, the Black Panthers entered.
We can't talk over each other, Rich. We can't talk over each other.
Okay. The Black Panthers entered into the state capitol building in California with fucking select fire rifles. They walked in. They had Class 3 firearms.
You know why they did that, though?
They protest.
Let's not.
I agree. Let's protest.
Resources, oil, and commercial routes to and from China are in our hands. Not to mention the Panama Canal. So you have already taken it back completely. So this is a huge win, and so China is in our hands. And also there were people talking about the currency, BRICS currency. This is nonsense. China's currency is not. They did not allow their own currency to trade freely in the international market. So there's no worry about for them becoming a freely traded hard currency on the international market. And also, the trading volume in renminbi is very, very low. And then also China itself has increased purchase of U.S. assets overseas, not decreasing. They're spending a lot of currency reserve on purchasing overseas assets. And as for Taiwan, people were talking about Taiwan. Just recently, Taiwan legislature approved, despite the obstruction of CCP in Taiwan, approved the $25 billion weapons purchase from the U.S. And I think 2 days ago, it's it's a snub at China. Just 2 days before Trump's trip to China. So we have a strong hand, and President Trump's trip to China is a victory lap. I'm done speaking.
So Hanson brings up a very important point that heretofore on this stage has not been discussed, and I have to acknowledge with my overabundance of listening to the pundits talk about this trip is also, I haven't heard it, maybe some people have heard someone suggest this, but it is absolutely true that 90% of Iran's oil goes to China. 90%. So, in reality, what's going on with Iran, I know it's a global market. I know it's sold as a commodity. But the reality is that China is in a whole world of right now. Exactly. So they have an extreme vested interest in, the top of the world is not what would constitute a win for China. Well, it could be, but it's implied that we're talking about for the United States. But you bring up an excellent point. What would constitute a win for China? And that would be getting that oil flowing once again. And I think they're in a position probably right now where this is a critical question for them. So, we've discussed before the threshold of pain that Americans will endure is very low as compared to other nations. And we're crying about the cost of oil and the effect on the economy. And I think rightly so, people have reason to be concerned about that.
Yes.
But I'm not finished. But I'm not finished. But that being said, the pressure on China right now is immense. 90% of their oil cut off. So, we should probably expand our view of this, and it's a little late to do that now, on this stage, but I'm just saying that we should collectively expand our view of this and try to look at it from the Chinese perspective. What do they need to get out of this? And, so it may not be, as a political article that I read at the top suggests, so much the president of the United States with his hat in hand. In some respect, the president of China has his hat in hand as well. And so let's see, this president claims he understands the art of the deal. So we will see. Thank you, Hanson.
That's okay.
Okay, hold on, guys. I would really like the opportunity to moderate the room and determine who speaks when. And I'm sorry if that sounds autocratic, but that's the way I run the room to avoid the kind of crosstalk that we nearly devolved into just now. We don't want that in this room. Why? I will tell you, because it confuses me. And I presume if it confuses me, it confuses other people. And it's impolite. And we try to run a polite room. So had you been patient just for a couple seconds, you would have already been speaking. Sip, you're up.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate it, Gary. Great room, by the way. But I would like to push back a little bit on the things that I heard that Hanson was saying just earlier. I don't believe that this, the fact that Iran has blocked the Strait of Hormuz and that America is blockading a blockade is really affecting China to the way you guys are saying. You have to understand that China also, in recent years, have diversified who they purchase oil from. They purchase, especially since the war has started, they've been purchasing tons of oil.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. If they get 90% of their oil from Iran and they're trying to diversify, that still means they're heavily dependent upon Iran.
Yes, but since the war has started, they've been heavily buying oil from the Russians. and they also been buying oil from the Brazilians. So they also have 6 months of oil reserves, one of the most in the world. So they're advantage, right? Or they're able to take the hit. Unlike the Americans, let me tell you why. The Americans are under extreme pressure to get the Hormuz open because they're allies. India, Japan, and the South Koreans heavily depend on this oil flowing through the Strait of Hormuz, way more than China.
The brethren shall be diligent in preaching the law of the Lema. In all writings they shall be careful to use the...
Yes, but when specifically with the oil...
Action or sit tight! Tell me if the...
open, and I guarantee you these allies to open the Strait of Hormuz. So I believe that the Chinese understand it. The Iranians understand it as well. Also, the Iranians, a couple of days ago, said they also want to have control of the internet. If you don't understand that, the following text is between the points of the pentagram and basically cut off the starting at upper right, going to India and other parts of the world. They also want to charge money for the internet being distributed. So it's even getting worse. Forget about the oil, now they're talking about the internet. So it's very important.
Mine is the head of the
I
hawk.
don't think he's coming with the leverage to...
Abrahadabra.
I think it's actually
And
the
ends.
opposite. I think that Trump is in enormous pressure and he's going to capitulate and probably say, hey, you know what, the Chinese, we're losing this, and, we'll give you an amazing trading deal, with Apple and all these other companies that you could build factories in America, and, it'll make these Chinese billionaires more rich. I think that's the avenue Donald Trump is going to go for. So therefore, then the Chinese can go to the Iranians and be like, hey, we have $1 billion or $1 billion, He doesn't want to care. He doesn't want to put any tariffs on us. He wants us to open factories in America. He has the Apple CEO meeting with us in China and all these.
I don't know if it can be made public. It just sounds like...
I think that's the angle Donald Trump is going to go at, and that's the way he can capitulate to the Chinese to basically put pressure on the Iranians.
We've been at this all day. Nobody's going to pull it out.
I've been practicing my entire life for this moment. Hold my baby oil.
So, we're closing things off, unfortunately. So what the caller said about the internet is very important, and it's again an aspect of this that I've not seen discussed much, despite my constant assumption. Infrastructure through the Strait of Hormuz. They feel that it's a new strategic pressure point beyond oil shipping. However, I kind of looked at the Atlantic Council analysis, which is more my consensus and was my consensus. According to the Atlantic Council, something more directly from a closure of the strait.
Stephen, you're late.
Because of its high reliance on oil imports from the Gulf, while the United States is less impacted, potentially even gaining financially from higher energy prices as an oil exporter, doesn't help you or me at the pump, of course. The global nature of the supply chain means both nations face severe long-term consequences. But according to the Atlantic Council, that is what their analysis is, if China does from a closure of the Strait of Hormuz than the United States. Folks, we are here Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock New York time. So until 5 o'clock New York time tomorrow for the next edition of the...
I think, yeah.
So essentially, somebody is called the N-word, and that person who's called the N-word is so angry that he lashes out and he physically hits someone.
as a result, he's then charged with battery of hitting the person who called him the N-word. When he's being defended in a courtroom, the lawyer cannot explain to the jury. The lawyer says to the jury, well, he was called the N-word, and that caused him such anger that he lashed out. It's a lot more impactful when you're doing a closing statement or opening statement, or you're presenting in front of a jury, to be able to have the word said, so the jury has the horror of the word and would understand why this man would then have the visceral reaction that he has. But if the lawyer says it in court, he then gets destroyed for using the word, even though he's doing it to then help the defense of his client. Does it make sense now what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the barrier of using it in any way. And the law school professor that used it by reading a case. I mean, it's in case law. It's in literature, by the way. I mean, you know, if you want to read Huck Finn or you want to read certain literature, it's you know, but to use it by quoting something that happened in a case or quoting literature.
I mean, this is John. I got a question for you.
God, can I just finish?
Yeah.
For a sec, John. Let me just finish this with Alan for a minute, because we've talked about this before.
Abby, I have a question for you right after.
The quoter who's using the term, and sometimes to the benefit of those that had the horror of hearing the word, now goes and gets censored and sanctioned. And in the case of the law professor, I think that students petitioned to get him fired. So anyway, now I'm done.
Alan, can I ask Abby a question? Because my question is, when Pepe comes in this room and he says G word, the J words, and he says horrific things about the J words, why do you tolerate him or his presence? And why does El Normo tolerate him or his presence? What is it about him that is so affable to you that you just think do you just tolerate him because this is a conference call app that anyone on the planet can come in and say horrific, vulgar, profane things? Is that pretty much what's happening here? Thanks.
Othello, you wanted to ask me something?
Yes. So this Chiller Billy guy, he's not only in trouble with the black community for using this word, but now he's in trouble with the police and this restaurant, which he's brought bad publicity to. So they could actually sue him for that. How, after what he did today, and after you've seen how he moves, how would you go against disrupting this guy?
Let me look at it. I just came in the room, so let me look at. Is that what the video is up there? I thought I'm sorry to play dumb on this, but let me look at it and I'll give you an answer. I mean, if he did something to disparage the business, is what you're saying, or to disrupt or intentionally interfere with their business relationships, then they could go after him in tort for that, most likely. I mean, I'd have to look at what he's doing, but if he's going after a business intentionally and painting them in a false light and disparaging them, then yeah, it's commercial slander. They could go after him, or it's saying it, or if he's writing it, then it's libel. So that would be my gut, but I'd have to look at it. I mean, but did you follow my point on using never being able to use the N-word, even when it's to defend the person that it was said to?
Yeah. What about the music? What about saying it in a repetitive?
I mean, I don't buy the music, so I'm not the one to ask that question. I listen to Springsteen, and I don't think he's ever used it in his lyrics.
Oh shit!
So,
He used it in his new song.
Well, when we say the N-word, let's be specific which N-word we're talking about.
Sorry, I really don't
The
like
N-word that we're talking about is the hard R and the soft H, also Negro. Is it okay to say Negro? Can you say Negro? Hello?
Othello, hopefully I answered your question, and I'll go
Well, there was a guy that was recent. Well, he wasn't recently. There was a guy that worked at Netflix, and he was fired for using the word. What they were doing was they was giving us sensitivity training and stuff like that. And he was telling them he was listing all the words you cannot use. He was talking to the employees. He said, these are the words you cannot use, and these are the words that are offensive.
It's the grammar police.
Right? He said the N-word. They fired him. Someone went and complained, and they fired him for using a word that he was telling them, y'all can't use. Do not use this word.
It is a sacred word reserved only for N-words. I was in a room, they were talking about how they have to protect the word. That we should only use the word in limited amounts because it's so sacred. The N-word. Hello?
We also have some speakers, and I'd like to open it up to Mike Dean and Big Mom if they want to get it too. Go ahead, Coco.
Thank you, I would like to get it.
And then Coco. Okay, Coco, then Alan, then Viking, Big Mog, and Viking. Go ahead.
Thank you, B-Mom.
Okay, Alan, you, and then me.
Yeah, I was just wondering what you find more offensive. Shiloh Hendricks raising, it wasn't millions, it was $800,000 for using the N-word on a child, or Carmelo Anthony raising $500,000 for stabbing and killing another boy. Which do you think is more offensive? Using the word or killing somebody?
Yeah,
I'll leave you with that.
Okay, yeah, I don't condone murder. So that's, if it's.
Do you have to publicly state that you don't condone murder so everyone knows you don't condone murder? Isn't that just a given? Isn't that an obvious statement? Why would you have to say that? Why would you have to preface any statement saying, I don't condone murder, and I don't condone murder. I'm sorry for interrupting. I just thought I had to say something.
You want to act like people don't actually go out and murder people in our fucking country? You want to act like we don't have gangs in our country? It's literally every fucking color in this country has my murderers. Whether that be fucking biker gangs, whether that be street gangs, whether that be, other militia types we have. There's people in every race of our society that what do I think is worse? Murder or, this other scenario with words and somebody been given money for, using racial slurs. Please, just don't police my speech. I don't know what's wrong with you, John. Honestly, every time I
obviously been over tariff is how it works in micro and macro econ. You should take one in political in politics, and then you'll know that yes, one mode of persuasion is through the emotions. Aristotle called it pathos. Yes, welcome to high school student government. Hey y'all, I want to be a student government president, and if I'm the president, we're going to get rid of 7th period. Yeah! And everybody votes for him. You still have 7th period. Yeah. Welcome to it. It's pretty basic stuff, bro.
Can I go now, or are you done? I don't know if you're done.
I'm sorry. I muted up. I'm done.
I'm oriented now. I'm back in my vehicle now, so I can answer you more succinctly. So I agree with you. Both sides use emotion. Okay? Everybody on the political spectrum uses emotion to animate their base so that they can generate political power and all that stuff. So I'm not saying Democrats are the only ones that do it, but Mr. Wesley, whatever his name is, Wesley Hunt, is responding in kind. So yeah, you're right. Roly-poly's audience despise Wesley Hunt, but it makes the rounds. That clip is going to get clipped up. It's going to get put on somebody's feed. We're talking about it in here. There's a lot of roly-poly followers in this room within the sound of our voice, in the audience or elsewhere, who is going to hear that term, that statement. And I understand most people are going to throw it out of hand. There's going to be that one person who hears it, who's in roly-poly side,
and maybe just about sick of the whining and crying and complaining from people like Brody. He's still on the side, but he's kind of teetering back and forth. And this 50th time he heard somebody like Wesley Hunt say it, it clicked. And now he turned his back on the roly-polies of the world, and now he becomes a new baby conservative. So what I'm saying is, it doesn't work on the masses. You're right. It ain't going to work on the masses of roly-polies audience. But there's people in the middle that follow roly-poly that when they hear Wesley Hunt's rhetoric for this 50th time or the 60th time, they heard, what's his name? They heard that guy Larry Elder a million times, and they always
Repeating yourself. Come on, bro.
I want to land.
Want to speak.
Okay, I just want to land with the emphasis. When you hear it multiple times on that multiple,
It's not working here. Do you have a new point? Come on, man. This is kind of frustrating.
I'm answering your question. That's the audience. That's the
audience. All right, cool. You said that 7 times. Anybody else want to speak?
Yeah. I'd like to speak to the West Hunt situation. Also weave in a little bit about what Akshay said about history, which was wild to me. Like, what's the worst kind of Negro? Him saying that slavery and Jim Crow back is exactly why RJ brought up about Black history. It needs to be taught, honestly, to white Americans. Because people hear Jim Crow and think it only means separate water fountains and somebody yelling, the N-word. They think racism only counts if it looks like a old black and white ass picture. But history evolves, language evolves, systems evolve, right? So nobody is saying that we're literally back in 1950. You already covered this, man. But the point is that we're watching all these voting protections get gutted. Affirmative action dismantled. We know the drill. Black political power diluted. I mean, just in Tennessee, they cracked the only majority Black district through redistricting, then removed every Black Democratic member from committee assignments. So, that's the problem. People who don't know history, they think oppression has to come back wearing the exact same outfit to be recognized. And if we had more actual history, white Americans might not be getting duped so easily by MAGA. You know what I'm saying? If they had been taught real Black history instead of patriotic mythology. Because once you understand it, you start recognizing the same strategies they're using against you. And then you go on and you scapegoat minorities and this manufactured fear. They feel like America's unstable because of Black people, because of immigrants, DEI, the new term wokeness. The playbook is old as hell. And part of the reason why it works, and part of the reason I got to work with so many mediocre white people is because they have this false sense of identity. They're raised with this, that they're natural achievers, like America was always a meritocracy, and whatever success their families had came from hard work, which is bullshit. But when you actually learn history, you realize the playing field was never level to begin with all of the things that come with our history. And I'm not saying white people don't work hard, I ain't saying that, but ignorance hurts them. It hurts us, but it really hurts the hell out of them, because if your identity is built around believing that your position is entirely earned and you're morally superior, and that any attempt to level the playing field, that feels like oppression to you. All of a sudden, they're the oppressed ones. That's why they lose their minds over all of the programs and, what, even if you say systemic racism, they lose their damn minds. So Black history just isn't about teaching us, it's about teaching everybody. And if they understood how division gets weaponized and how ordinary people get manipulated every day, we might not be in the state that we're in right now.
So, are you done, Madison? Oh, good. Okay. So, sure. Let's wake something up. When Wesley Hunt said that he doesn't mind if there aren't any Black federal lawmakers, what he was saying was that he doesn't mind if we go back to 1901. I just decided to do some digging, and I found that by 1901 there weren't any Black U.S. representatives in Congress. That remained the case until 1929. I also see here that no Black U.S. senators were elected again until 1967. What we do know is that between 1870 and 1901, 22 African Americans held seats in Congress. So Wesley Hunt is saying that he doesn't mind if we go back to a time when there were no Black congresspersons, and that time was 1901. I don't need to tell people what life was like for Black people all across the nation in 1901. That's what he's saying. He doesn't mind if we go back to Jim Crow. So.
What were the political affiliations of the 22 that were in office from the 1870s?
I'm sorry, what's your question, Monica?
The political affiliations of those representatives.
You mean the parties?
Oh my God.
Oh, I don't know. I think most of them were probably Republican, if not all. What's the point? They got ran out of the party. It's called the Lily White Movement. You want to go into why the blacks got ran out of the Republican Party, or you just want to stop at the affiliation? What might go on you?
I'm guessing it was fear of their excellence, but that's just a hypothetical.
No, it's called the Lily White Movement. They didn't want niggers in the party anymore. You should look it up. The Republican Lily.
I thought we weren't going to allow the black slur on the stage. You had a problem with it.
Hello? Hello? I'm quoting them. This is a quote. We're doing primary source material. This is the Republican Party in 1901 we're talking about. So I'm doing the original. And you know, Monica, I'm gonna say something to you real quick. If people indulge me. I called your name before twice because you hadn't said anything, and I moved you down because when people are on the stage for a long time, they sometimes unmute by accident, and you hear stuff and whatever, and it's like, it's crazy. I moved you down trying to be nice so that you wouldn't unmute like you've done 2 times before, and we've heard your business in the background. You then got moved down and decided to call me a pansy and do a little mini crash out in the chat. I was actually trying to be nice to you. But that's what you get for something.
I called the person who said, move her down.
That's why he said it. That's why he said it. Because I was calling your name.
He was because I wasn't responding because I wasn't near my phone.
Exactly why I moved you down.
He didn't want me sitting on the stage without contributing.
You said no thanks.
And then I laughed.
Or whatever you said because you left because you thought I would move you down. That's exactly what happened. I'll tell you from now on, when you come off mute, we'll just keep you off mute. You've done it 2 times now. I was literally trying to be nice to you. We heard you listen. We heard you watching your silly television show, acting like somebody was tickling your hairy underarms.
Big Bang Theory. Why are you so nasty?
No, it was.
Were you looking
you have hairy underarms.
It was Big Bang Theory.
It was not Big Bang Theory.
It was Big Bang Theory.
It was not the one I'm talking about. They had a British accent. It wasn't Big Bang Theory.
It was.
Anyway,
Talking about his story about being. Oh, now you don't want accuracy. You just want to.
It doesn't matter what the TV show was, man. I was trying to be nice to you.
Well, do better, because you.
Shut the fuck up. Yell at me one more time, you dumb bitch. I'll block you for life. Get your bitch ass up.
That was functional. That was fruitful.
No, let's go fuck with it.
Yes, at the very least, it's
For
funny.
who?
I think it's funny.
Was it? Oh, okay.
Monica, do you have an OnlyFans where you cosplay as a baby?
Oh, Neo!
Do you have an OnlyFans where you cosplay as a man?
Wow, that was such a great comeback. Oh, jeez.
I'm gonna leave it there.
Okay, you're moving up on my weird list. Just so you know,
You
just
can tell
move up
what
another rank.
grew up
So
not
the
knowing
list right now goes from least weird to most weird. And right now, coming in first, I believe is
If you
Dennis
don't know how
for
to do
least
it,
weird.
don't try.
I think followed
Serious.
by
Who is Austin?
Marshall. Followed by, it's really tough right here to
Not
make
a
the call.
negative round.
I think I'm gonna go with Aisha. which is really tough for me to
Probably the
hear
most
that level of
forgettable
score.
voice.
Is that supposed to be a snap
I think
button?
I have to go with
If it
Ravis,
was, you might want
which
to.
is almost impossible to do that level of score. So, and then it's Otter, and then Dave, I think you got the top spot, buddy.
Keep it
I
himself.
think you did. I think you extended.
I knew it was between me and Rivas. I knew it. Rivas asked, I
RJ was explained what the RJ doctrine is.
No one came for you. It's simply a statement of you don't know how to snap. That's not coming for you.
Yo, man,
But
what
the
is
RJ
the
doctrine
what is the RJ
explained.
doctrine? Man, what is the RJ doctrine if you're home?
He's not going to contribute. I can fill in the spot if no one else.
No, we don't need to bastardize the RJ doctrine. Matt, the RJ doctrine no longer applies.
What does the RJ stand for?
It stands for Royal Juggernaut. There we go.
RJ, and I'm going to keep going because you don't have to add to it. And I got into so much trouble hosting you this morning. Don't come to this.
You are waiving your right to self-defense because you don't have a right to.
Don't waive the right to self-defense.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yeah, because self-defense is, no, listen, self-defense is when you're defending yourself when you're not in a mutual situation. That's self-defense. He's mutually engaging with these people, so he doesn't have self-defense.
No, it's
That's
not.
you stand your ground.
Because self-defense only is related to the physical offense, not verbal, whatever you call it, offense or not.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah, he's trying to
with respect to verbal altercation.
No, right, but he's trying to provoke these people into doing so you don't walk up and on somebody. It does matter. It does. Yes, you cannot provoke a situation and call self-defense. That's not how it works.
Guys, you can't use physical defense to fighting words. Fighting words are actionable in terms of what you can go after. They're not protected speech, so you can go after the person who used the fighting word, but you can't use physical to the fighting. That's acceptable. Mind your mouth when you talk to a woman, asshole.
I'm letting you know. You're talking to a black man.
I don't care if you're orange or green.
Your mouth.
You're an asshole.
I don't wanna get into things, but I wanna stay focused.
But that's not how the law works, and
I don't know if I'm
Bima, I'm answering Hanson, that Hanson is correct. Hanson is correct. That's how the law works. You can go after the person for unprotected speech and for fighting words, but you can't use physical contact. It won't mitigate, and it's not, you're gonna be with the battery.
Respect black or get smacked.
Well, you should be smacked.
Saying the N-word is fighting words. I don't know what
It's not.
Okay? Yeah, that's how we do
Do you know what a fighting word is? Do you know what fighting words are? What's fighting words? What are fighting words?
Refer to that
What
nasty
are
behavior that
fighting
they
words?
Well, let's have this conversation.
It's all fighting words.
Emma, would you like to tell them what fighting words are?
I'd like to refer to the professional.
We still don't know why they couldn't control themselves. Okay, like that way, terminology, that's derogatory, and it incites all type of discriminatory emotions to somebody else, knowing that you're trying to just reincorporate some nasty shit that you shouldn't evolve from, because it's disgusting.
So,
And yeah, so you get beat up for it, and you get your white nasty face.
Hold on.
Look, if you get your white pasty
Bima,
face smacked
why
by
don't you
nigga shit,
pull up
welcome
the
to nigga-
definition of fighting words and you can.
No, it is, yeah. This is white people disrespect
You can't justify it with words. You can, but you're gonna be arrested. be arrested for assault.
Yeah, I'll smack my
Likely.
okay,
Free range wants to make a comment, if we could just,
smack the fuck out the ass.
we
Go
could
ahead.
circle back around, free range, and then the
Was anyone
SAU.
participating? Did anyone just do that?
No threats, no doxing,
About free speech.
no threats, no doxing. Okay, free range, go ahead.
So I think we all agree that he's been aggressive and provocative in the situation. I'm not saying that words just inherently means that you can, subject yourself to violence. But I ask a question: if you provoke someone into fighting, can you claim self-defense, right? And that's what he's doing because, of course, there's other clips of him saying he means shit like that, so he can pretty much use, mace or taser or gun or whatever he has. So it says generally, no, you cannot claim self-defense if you provoke a fight. If you're the initial aggressor, which he is, or intentionally bait someone into attacking you, you lose the right to claim self-defense, as you cannot create a dangerous situation and then use force to defend yourself. So that's what I'm saying. He's doing this with the intent to create a hostile situation, just so he can use the force.
But the words can't do it free. The words, there's no justification for
Yeah,
physical.
anytime a white person is antagonizing you,
I
agree,
but that's a separate issue.
Yeah, but that's, yeah,
Attack me,
so,
also can't
no,
claim
you're
self-defense,
absolutely
though.
right. If someone physically goes after you, then you physically respond. But
You're
it's
right.
physical to physical is different than words to physical.
I agree with you, Abby. I agree with everything you're saying, except for if it's a white racist fucker trying that shit, smack their ass, bro. That's the exception. Beat their ass up. Yeah, because you would not tolerate that. Beat their ass up. Beat their ass the fuck up.
Really?
Yeah, straight up. They shoot each other in the neck for less. Okay? They shoot each other in the neck for less.
Would you do that? Would you do that?
I wouldn't do that. I don't shoot white people in the neck
Would
for
you
freedom
hit
of
someone?
speech.
Would you hit someone if they said it to you?
If a white person know how to behave and they want some nigga treatment, they can get nigga treatment because white people
What would you do to
and
them?
they don't think they are. And sometimes you have to remind them that they can be a dirty white.
And how would you remind them?
Nigga treatment. You understand what I'm saying?
How would you remind
anybody
them?
else can get nigga treatment.
How would you do this? What would your method be of reminding them?
I would take the white people method in Utah. I don't know. Maybe I might consider that one. I don't know. I might just go to
What
the
do you
extreme.
mean? What would you do?
Yeah, what do y'all do? What do y'all do to people who like freedom of speech that are white and named Charlie Kirk? What do y'all do?
What would I?
Yeah. What do y'all do?
Big Mac.
Yeah, what do y'all do? What do y'all do?
Be my, you want to take this
What
on?
do y'all do?
Adrian has a question, but I just want to pause there because Big Mom brings up a really good point, okay? Because let's think about Charlie Kirk, okay? There was a reason. Sorry, Adrian, just real quick. Thank you so much. There was a reason that Kirk got the response that he did from the public when
From the white people, the white people he was protecting and defending, and they shot him in the neck. A white man did that. And you believe you red hat wanderers found your way into a HBCU.
Why would you care what color the guy was? The guy was someone who was
Your people are watching
care what color.
We're all each other's people.
They killed our brother in Christ.
Do you think it's okay to
Yeah, they
use
killed our brother.
physical?
They killed my brother in Christ.
Do you think it's okay? Do you think it's okay to use physical harm when you don't like what someone says? Do you think that that's okay?
No.
Are you
No, I don't.
justifying that?
No, I don't.
Okay, good. Thank you.
There is an exception.
What's the
What's the
exception?
exception?
Hold on, Big Mom, you don't think that Charlie Kirk deserved to be killed, right? Come on, Big Mom, you don't think Charlie Kirk deserved to be killed, right?
Explain my exception. I agree 100% with what Abby says. You do not, if somebody is antagonizing you with their words, you do not respond in violence at all. That is lower frequency level de-escalation skills. Now, if a white person goes to Ruby Brick, like bothers Ruby Brick, you gotta understand these white people. These people are not like, their lower level is different from black people lower level. These people will wake up and go to a school to bother a little black girl. They're like, it's grown adults, right? This is what they have evolved from, right? So let me tell you, anytime they revert back to this, you have to, you gotta do this for America. And not only just for your people, but you gotta do this for white people, bro. You got to do this you got to smack the fuck out their ass. Because they will not interfere with the white evolution. Because there was once upon a time white people couldn't control their emotions. You know how they pick on the black people, how they pick on the black people, you're just emotionally triggered. They couldn't control their emotions. They would get out of your bed as an adult. Hold on, Adrian, let me finish this, because let me tell you, this is why white niggers exist, and I ain't gonna never let y'all treat my people like you less than. On God, because y'all just the same. Y'all are just the same. And I love y'all. Y'all just the same. Hush your mouth, bruh. Y'all are so triggered. Let me finish. Self-control. Can you be
white evolution. And I would not let anybody get in the way of my white brothers and sisters growing up from that Ruby Bridges shit they used to do. You know, bothering black children who are trying to get an education because they couldn't control themselves emotionally to that extent. What dirty black in the hood has done such ruckus? We like niggas ain't 1,000 Chicago's cannot compare to all these kids that we cannot find a job here, even from the 50s till now. They ain't in the hundreds. So look, check it out. I'm proud of y'all, and I'm proud of Chud. I like Chud. I want him to win. But y'all gotta understand. This what you get. You should always get your ass beat for disrespecting black people just for the fuck of it, because that makes you a monkey again. That makes you a snow monkey again among conquerors. That's what it do. And you are better than that. Alright? You are better than that. You are going upwards. White people around here, like they behave so damn good, respectful, all that. I'm not gonna we can't let no judge bring that back, so we get his ass smacked up, it's good. So he is the exception, alright? But that kind of cute. Straight up, yeah.
So free to add context what actually happened.
Yeah, we're gonna start a queue, because I wanna get everybody in. Mr. Edward wanted to get in. Adrian was waiting to ask a question. Okay, so Adrian wanted to ask a question. Free Range wanted to jump in. I'm sorry, Othello. I did get you. I do hear you though. But Adrian said he wanted to ask a question. Free Range had said that he was waiting to say something. We have you're way at the bottom.
No, we're not playing that shit.
We had Mr. Edward.
I'll do a Q in the chat. So we got a question, and then who's the next?
Oh, me.
We have Adrian, Free Range, Mr. Edward, Othello, Rich.
Okay, I'll put that in the chat.
Thank you.
Right.
Okay, Adrian.
Alright, so my question is, when it comes to the use of people who use the defense, self-defense or stand your ground, can you use that as a defense for an altercation that you initiated?
Initiated what? By what?
You initiated an altercation, a conflict between you and another person. They put hands on you. Can you use self-defense as a defense?
Yes.
Because
It depends. Go ahead.
Who initiated the physical?
Listen.
Not who initiated the physical.
I think you're listening to responding. You're not listening to my question. Digest my question. Can you use self-defense as a defense if you initiated an altercation or conflict?
Verbal altercation, right?
No.
Verbal. He's saying in general.
A legal answer to that, Adrian?
Yeah, I got it. Go ahead.
Adrian.
Let me
Do you want an advocate? Do you want me to?
I was gonna go after you.
I'm not in the queue.
Well, just quickly, it depends, okay? Depending on how the conversation addressed. Of course, me just addressing over the phone, clearly there's no reason for us to physically contact each other because we can service with words. But if I address you in person in a fashion that provokes violence, meaning like, what's with all that shit you're talking, that's great. But if I say, hey, I heard you wanted to fight me or something like that, there's no reason for me to address you in person with that, because now we are in reach of physical contact with each other, right? And as the conversation develops, who takes more aggressive steps towards each other, at some point it may get to a point where it's just, what is called standing your ground, so to speak. But if I'm coming towards you, like what happens in some of these, I watch a lot of public videos where someone, and some of you guys see this shit too, especially on like social media, when someone goes to someone's house, they cannot justify addressing words by going to the location to actually call, to escalate the threat. You cannot use self-defense in that situation. So I'm saying that to say with the builder, this dude who we're talking about, he actually engages people with his intent, which it's not like he's just out and about screaming and this happens to happen. He's actually have a platform based on this. So I'm saying with that premise, he's not creating a situation where he can actually argue self-defense. He's actually putting himself in danger to where he lose that claim.
Right. So, and here's the qualifying factor here. He is armed, approaching unarmed people, initiating conflict with unarmed people while he has a gun. I don't think he can use self-defense as a defense anymore. you're armed with a firearm and you started a conflict with people who were minding their business and who was also unarmed.
I agree with you. I agree with you. If he escalated it to that level,
Too
if
physical.
he punches to a punch, it's different than if you bring out a knife or a deadly weapon. And the law will probably support what you say, Adrian.
Right, because simply brandishing your weapon, that's considered assault.
Not if it's justified.
Bullshit.
If a person has intent
You're not listening
to inflict deadly violence upon you, and you brandish a firearm and do not use it, you're saying that you would be put in prison for that?
That is a charge, buddy. I don't know about
Let me ask you a
that
question.
is a charge.
No, it's not if it's justified.
Again, you're trying to make an argument.
No, Adrian, 500,000 to 3 million times what the CDC reports. On average, that person brandishes or displays a firearm. You're asking a question I'm trying to answer.
No,
I don't know if Peter's here.
Person killed out there.
Peter, this isn't Tehran. It's US.
From the other person's punch. You know that, right? You know that. You want to intentionally support the crime.
We can't understand you.
Somebody's punch is not stronger than other person's punch. If somebody threw a punch, the other person for self-defense need to use a knife or something, otherwise he would be killed.
Ima, can you translate?
Oh, he said if a person punches you, you're legally justified in using self-defense. If you
escalate, I put it in the chat.
As the leader of the Celestials, I possess immense wisdom and strategy. I make various plans to maintain the balance and order of the universe. I spread the celestial seeds across various planets, because every billion years, a new celestial must be born. Earth was chosen to give birth to Tiamat. For Tiamat to grow, it requires massive amounts of energy from intelligent life. However, the deviants consume humans, disrupting my plan. So, I sent the Eternals to Earth to accelerate the birth of Tiamat and eliminate the deviants. Leader of the Eternals, Arjak, can communicate with me through the soul metal on her chest and report the situation.
I don't know if this can tell you guys.
Arjak fell in love with Earth and started questioning the celestial plan. By 1531, after the last of the deviants were wiped out, the Eternals split due to internal disagreements. Years later, the most deviants returned, attacking Cersei and Sprite. Even worse, they evolved to absorb the energy of the Eternals. Cersei and her companions set out to find the remaining Eternals. Later, after inheriting the soul of the world, Cersei discovered the truth. When the human population and energy reached a critical point, Tiamat emerged and destroyed Earth. The Eternals and the deviants were merely tools to bring about the birth of the Celestials. The energy of humanity on Earth had already reached the threshold, and a new Celestial was about to be born. This plan was opposed by some of the Eternals. Cersei reached out to me,
Can I explain how this all started? So this guy was a kick streamer. He was a kick streamer. He wasn't doing any of this racist kick shit, chipping out, and worked on something. He was just a regular kick streamer. He was parked at a gas station. And an African-American guy pulled up the car and started screaming out and transferred his fucking car. So while he was on the street, he's like, bro, chill the fuck out. I'm almost done with that shit. You know, I'll walk away here in a second. The guy starts screaming in his face. And he's like, oh, fuck you, nigga. He's like, now you're fucking stepping out. You fucking monkey. And then he started in spiral. And every time that he walks out, I don't know.
the Celestial. I will personally descend to Earth to judge and reshape this world.
No, just like if I'm actively engaged in activities with you, just tell me what's up. Like, don't conceal things from me, because that's when problems start occurring, and I'm not there to be manipulated.
What you think concealing is, like, not just, like, what point do they need to tell you this just out of...
America is if China owns
The spirit of...
Your silly television show. Your silly television.
Months on end. To me,
Here we go. This is Rich left off where he steps outside of the courthouse, where he's at the courthouse. Okay, so here we go.
They're pointing at me. They're laughing. They're pointing at me. And I said, "What's up, guys? How y'all doing?" I said, "Y'all like the new suit?" He said, "Walk away from me." I walked away. He came back up to me. He literally said, "I have PTSD. I feel like I'm in." He said, "You start saying all that shit about shit to me, I'm gonna hit you." He hit me. Started wailing on me.
Right? And so we can judge and give ourselves a report card of being good by separating ourselves. And we can also then build on it, right? We've got moral absolutes. This is what is righteous, this is what is sin, or this is what is moral, this is what is immoral. And then we can, oh no, it's not absolutes. We've got moral. Go back to, well, but Islam, like these are like, that's a core principle. It's like, no, it's not. Like, look at what's, you want to talk about that, but look at what's actually happening, like on the ground. Like, you want to ignore that. You're ignoring that in your real life. So yeah, and I've been listening to Simon's bullshit for a long time, and I haven't said anything. So he got a little smackdown. I'm not planning on, going at him consistently, but I had a little 15 minutes in the car.
I am your only future! And my path, your only path! Who among you dare say otherwise?
By the way, I was gonna have to oh yeah, you didn't get so yeah, I don't know if you said anything to me. Trying to like saying that I have this split personality, and like Princessia is just a title. It's like princess, not a identity. It's just like a title. Oh, is that what it means though? Princessia? Yeah. Yeah, it's princess. Princess in what? Like liquid? No, it's just me being cute. Like I made it up. Like the day that I made myself name Princessia, my aunt, I was going somewhere with her, and she called me. It's very aesthetically,
assault, right? It doesn't have to be a physical for it to be assault. You just yelling at someone can be assault. You playing a loud ass megaphone 2 inches away from someone's ear, that is considered assault in certain jurisdictions. Okay? So we need to be very clear on what assault is and what provoking a response from a person is, right? Because
Adrian, the second that I say nigger to you, you have the legal justification and beat my ass guilty. And I can't defend myself.
Be right all the time.
No, you're like a TikTok lawyer. That's what you are. You're saying that if I say fuck you, honk you, fuck you nigger, and then you attack me, you have legal justification to beat me to death, and I can't defend myself.
I'm really not that fucking
That's
funny.
Okay.
Alright, so you need to chill the fuck out. Okay. What I wanted to say to you is stop citing the lockbox portion of your submission because we have already established that that is not settled law in Tennessee.
Alan already looked it up.
No,
there is lockboxes in Tennessee.
I debunked that already. That is not settled law in Tennessee. So stop saying
you keep
that
saying
lockbox.
you said you can't bring a firearm onto the courthouse.
Bro,
I'm simply saying you cannot. I understand what you cited. I heard you, but what you're misunderstanding is that they have lockboxes prior to the fucking inspection area. Where prior to where the metal detector area, you're not allowed to bring it. You're not allowed to bring it past the secured area. But this is why they have lockboxes where you put your gun in there. Jesus Christ, you're not allowed to bring it past the security checkpoint.
You can't do it, period.
You're not listening. They have fucking security lockboxes. We already looked that up. Alan already showed how they have lockboxes similar to Texas. When you enter with your firearm, you inform the security officer or the sheriff's deputy. You say, hey, I have a firearm. They say, okay, there's a lockbox. Go over and put it in the lockbox.
All right.
It's in the lockbox. Take the fucking key, walk inside. Jesus Christ, you're talking about on the premise, past the security checkpoint. I agree.
Okay.
You're not allowed to have it in a courthouse, or you're not allowed to have it in the courtroom and or adjacent, and you're not allowed to pass past the security checkpoints.
It's a state bill.
They literally fucking have lockboxes though. Jesus Christ. Why they have lockboxes?
Fucking idiot, bro.
God, you're done. Fucking TikTok lawyer.
It's not settled law in Tennessee.
Shut up. Thank you very much. Even did Free Range already go or no?
No, he did not.
Okay, Free Range, you're up, and then Edward. Go ahead, Free Range.
Yeah, I'll try to keep it quick. We made a lot of points that already, kind of satisfy the issue. But yes, if what Richie's saying, that is not a situation where he will be held accountable for, assault or whatever charge. It's self-defense, in other words. With Big Mark, if he's still here, real quickly, I think we all agree that words shouldn't lead to violence most of the time. It's very rare. Yeah, I know a lot of us are very sensitive about our loved ones, particularly our children, so people can say things to provoke violence. It's rare, but those are extreme situations. I say to say that when we look at this situation here, most of the times we don't want people to be using racial slurs like that because, we know what can happen, and what happened has happened based on this guy having this history of it. Again, I'm not saying he's always doing this, but he does it enough to where you expect it from his content. The point of the matter is, if the story that's being portrayed based on the article is true, then like I said, it's a legitimate case of self-defense. I'm just saying this, and I'll end on this. If we are going to keep this principle in mind, then we have to start addressing the violence that comes to us from the left to the right, based on them just attacking us for our so-called violent rhetoric, which when they use that shit saying Trump, that he always goes around saying shit that leads to violence. Meanwhile, the violent actions of the left is not compared to the right. So I'm just saying that if you guys are going to try to justify this, then you have to be, or at least, play this game that it shouldn't happen. You have to be consistent. That's all I'm saying.
Can someone tell me, who's the person that said that there's actual law by using a racial slur? Because I'd like to know what state you're telling me that that's considered an actual assault. I understand hate crimes pretty well, and I work with them every day. So if someone just uses a racial slur as a criminal offense, no, has to be coupled with a threat of harm.
White people who don't know how to act and they want to attack white people. It's okay.
What state
it's okay.
do you think? I'm sorry.
They shoot each other.
Just remember, next time you get arrested, Abby can represent.
Okay.
Could someone tell me what state you're talking about? Because that would would absolutely be an infringement on your free speech. You can say horrible things. Unfortunately, you can do that. And however, so could you tell who said that? Could someone tell me what state you're talking about?
Act like a deranged white person, and then you want to get smacked for it. That's
Who said it, dude?
It was Adrian. He's gone.
Oh, Adrian.
Oh, Adrian said it. Yeah, it doesn't.
Everybody got a friend.
You have to couple it with you have to.
That's fine, and smack up. Watch your mouth.
Okay.
Watch your
It'll
mouth.
escalate the crime to a hate
Watch
crime,
your mouth.
but the speech
Watch
in itself.
your white mouth. Brown blacks.
And I have a Bima, are you alive? Well, I have a question.
Yeah, I'm.
Well, we got a queue.
Oh, sorry.
You should be prosecuted, King.
Yeah, you should be in jail. Good. Everything's working, how it's working. Why are y'all complaining?
But that's the last person.
He attacked the foolish white boy. The white boy is in jail. Or who cares?
We can add you now. Mr. Edwards next. Mr. Edward? Yeah, he might not be there. I wanted to also add this, and I'll just add this now because I think this is good to support what Big Mog is saying. So we were talking about fighting words specifically a little earlier, okay? So please, again, remember, I don't know everything, so if you have anything that you'd like to add to that, this is what we're here for. One of the Supreme Court cases was Chaplinsky versus New Hampshire, okay? Now, this, basically, this guy said something to a marshal, the city marshal. This guy Chaplinsky said to the New Hampshire city marshal that he was a goddamn racketeer and a damn fascist. And the court upheld punishment because they were considered direct face-to-face insults to a specific person in a public setting. So there's that criteria, okay, that has to be met in order to be considered fighting words. It has to be said directly to a person, face to face. It can't be a general comment. So it has to a direct comment, face to face. It has to be personally abusive, not like I hate your political view. You're talking about a very specific personal insult. And it has to elicit, likely violence, right? It says specifically by their very utterance, the court described it by their very fighting words, by their very utterance inflict injury or tend to incite an immediate breach of the peace. The court also accepted a narrower test, quote, direct tendency to cause acts of violence by the person to whom individually the remark is addressed.
Yes, they're not protected speech. That's what I was trying to say earlier. But it's a separate charge from the scenario you were talking about.
Cracking out, talking that shit. Now they're looking for legal loopholes.
Chuck the builder, even though I don't agree with him. But look at the fucking niggers chimping it.
Cracking out. Look at this. These niggas go to the law. And look, they go to the law after they try that nigga shit. Cracking out. Method out.
So Rich just gave an example. Now the reason why that wouldn't be considered fighting words is one, we're not in a personal setting. It wasn't said face to face, and it wasn't said directly to somebody.
Y'all dissecting the cracking out.
But now, Rich, can you give us an example? Because you tend to be able to conjure him up. Well, can you give us an example? If said face to face, a personal insult that would elicit.
Oh, easily. Yeah. What I'm gonna do is concede my time to answer. Go ahead.
Well, you have to distinguish that case, Bima, because that was a disturbing of the peace case, and that was there was a demonstration. I mean, there's more facts in that case. So you kind of have to distinguish it from just a one-on-one conversation that was a
doing nigga shit and going looking for
move this motherfucker down.
Yeah,
you move me down for less. I know he's black and you want dick from him.
Emotionally disturbed, cracking out.
Alright, shut up.
It's no monkey sliding.
Alright, stupid fucking ape.
Cracking out.
There you go, you fucking chimp. Sit the fuck down.
So I don't know if that answers, but you have to distinguish the facts on that case. And fighting words are not protected, but it's a separate, the question was asked earlier.
Steve, quick question. How's Scott doing?
I haven't spoken to him in a couple of days.
I assume that's Reverend Scott
Yes.
from your
Scott,
show? Okay.
Yes, Reverend Scott Jones of my show, The Mod Squad. I do have to go on a Zoom meeting. Less than 5 minutes.
Okay, go ahead and do your clip. I think David was there.
Well, it's not mine. No, he wanted to do something. He wanted me to react to it.
Yeah, well, anybody, it's open in the room, but you have a limited time here, so I'll let you crack at it first.
Okay.
Congressional testimony. This comes off of. Anyway, I'll get the clip in a second.
Fine.
Decide on any interest rate decision in any of our discussions, nor would I ever agree to do so. So independence takes courage. Let's check out your independence and your courage. We'll start easy. Mr. Warsh, did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election? We try to keep politics, if I'm confirmed, out of the federal. I'm just asking a factual question. I need to know, I need to measure your independence and your courage. Senator, I believe that this body certified that election many years ago. That's not the question I'm asking. I'm asking, did Donald Trump lose in 2020? And I'm suggesting you in 2020 the Fed made your huge inflation problem, and you certified the election.
Powell's term as chairman ends this week, but with the DOJ's investigation into him in limbo, he said he will be.
Anyway, any idea what the context of that testimony was?
No, but I can answer the question. There's no doubt in my mind that Trump lost the election, which is why he lost the presidency to Biden. That's my humble opinion.
Right, that's awesome. I agree with you. It's pretty easy to answer that.
Yeah.
What person that was about to be confirmed in front of the Senate, when it's kind of Senate confirmed things, do you think was struggling to answer that question?
Are they going through a potential new judicial appointments for the Supreme Court?
Worse, this is the next Federal Reserve chairman.
Oh, fuck.
They all literally go this way. Everything for the Department of Health has gone this way. Everything with the FDA, with the Senate, with the RFK, all of this has gone this way.
Those people can be fired without cause because they served at the pleasure. The only thing is the Federal Reserve chairman is the independence to tell the president to fuck off.
And if I may, before I go very quickly, I'm sorry because I gotta go. I've been saying for years, or ever since he was nominated, elected, or confirmed, that RFK would have been amazing as head of the EPA because he has 20 years of experience filing lawsuits on behalf of the environment against the EPA. That's his field of expertise, not the field that he's in right now. As far as I'm concerned, he's a complete idiot in the field he's in. But if he would have been nominated and confirmed as head of the EPA, I'm all in. And with that, I have to go on a Zoom meeting. It's been a pleasure. Ash, once again, happy birthday or happy anniversary, whatever the hell it is. And take care. I'll see you all again.
Aw, yay. I love birthdays and presents and flowers and chocolates. I love them all. Thank you.
Are you testing the gifted chocolates before you consume them?
Huh?
Just making sure you're following protocols.
To test my chocolates that are already wrapped up and completely taken care of?
I mean, they might be edibles. That would be good in terms of the.
Oh, those would be bad. Yeah, no, I don't test that. No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I would hope that the Godiva chocolates that I get normally are not.
I was a
Sweet
definite
chocolates.
consumer of a lot of edibles before my wife got me to stop doing that in 2024.
Oh, your wife got you off of Instagram and your wife made you stop consuming edibles? What else has this Wonder Woman done?
I wasn't. I was officially on. The whole thing of it is getting me off Instagram. The only thing it was me needing to sign in and delete my account.
I'm totally teasing you, but also
No, we've been together 33 years. Our daughter's grown now, and I'm very happy to.
What is your wife still getting you off to now?
Oh, I wasn't gonna discuss that, cause she tends to be pretty private about those things, but it definitely still happens on the regular, so that's all.
No need to discuss things you don't wanna discuss. We don't
And
need to discuss.
for the men in the room, there's a definite pipeline from piano to pussy, I'll just put it that way, as a pianist.
Wow, okay, so that went in a direction I wasn't expecting, thank you, Dave. Where's Roy this when we need him?
Other people's penis pipeline.
I was just curious where Roy this is when I need, that's all.
Is that right, Miss said?
It's just, it would have been a Royvis comment. That's all.
Oh, you know,
It's not
you know what's funny is to tell an incel that, and then they're like, what are you saying? I'm like, you know what, stop pestering the girls and go start practicing your piano. It'll take you about 10, 15 years to get good, and then, you know.
Well, at least you're trying to help the others.
I don't know, if it's helping them, at least it's maybe helping them not be pests to other people if they actually took me seriously and went and did that, but I don't know. I'm not their father, I have one daughter to worry about, so.
Well, I appreciate that, thank you. Okay, so now everybody heard the clip and David wanted responses. We can go back to that.
Yeah, no, it's crazy the amount of influence Trump has had in areas that he's broken government. And this is one of the membranes, the blood-brain barrier that matters, is fed independents if they, everybody's afraid of like financial, what would be a financial problem? Well, a Fed that starts doing crazy shit. Because the president says lower interest rates when they should be going higher. You know, you get hyperinflation, so we could go Weimar, we could basically do Germany 1930s and fucking break the whole world economy in this kind of single move.
See, okay, here's my only problem with that, and I'm not a Trump guy, not even remotely, but why do we say that we would break the whole, we're not special, man, we're just
Sort of, I mean, so Dave, do you know of any other way that they denominate oil other than US dollars?
I thought China was taking care of that now, I thought that the petrodollar was breaking.
Well, quick answer is no. Longer answer is not at all. And do you remember the financial crisis, the global financial crisis?
I do, like, 2008 you're referring to?
Yeah, 2008.
Yeah, that was terrible, because all the young people should have been getting that money, not the big bank.
Sort of,
bonus
yeah,
out.
I'm talking about from the moral side, but I just, like, I was 5 years into being a stockbroker financial advisor when it started, and did it for 5 more years after. So, very intimate with the mechanics here. But if the dollar breaks and people, what did they do after the Great Depression? They put in federal deposit insurance corporations so that people don't have bank runs, so that your money's guaranteed, that there's fractional reserve banking, all this other stuff. But the Fed, their independence is because they're not actually a government entity. They're not run by the government. The government is not directly setting these interest rates. It's essentially a bunch of banks that agree on the policy, and they have this weird, hard to understand thing, a dual mandate to keep inflation low and employment high, which are contradictory things generally, and it's a weird balancing act. But essentially, they're the one mechanism that says set interest rates as if the future matters. So Donald Trump, as a real estate developer, only knows, just like tariffs, it doesn't matter what all the economists say, that it's a dumb thing to do, if the tariff war's bad, blah, 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 blah. He still will do it because nobody tells him no. So the reason I played that clip is he won't even, his testimony won't say who won the 2020 election because he's trying to please Trump. He's there to be a yes man. So if Trump tells him to lower interest rates when you're not supposed to do it, the Federal Reserve is supposed to not be influenced by what the president wants or what one person wants. They're supposed to set it for, again, this kind of weird invisible hand long-term future.
No, I get that. I think when you said fuck up the world, I guess the conservatives would call me a bleeding heart, says, well, we're not the world. We're not the fucking world. If it will fuck ourselves up, but then wouldn't other people just sort of step in and like, okay,
Well,
that
how do
empire
you
just
price
fell.
anything if the whole backstop breaks? Because don't you have to assume that something about money?
Yeah, but okay, so my opinion is probably wrong. I had thought that the petrodollar was breaking apart. I thought that other people were trading in oil without U.S. currency. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
You basically are, because international trade has this counterparty risk when you go across currencies. So basically, you have to have one more dominant currency that is essentially fixed, and everything else floats around it. And one of the things that China had for decades done is devalue their currency. It helped them grow their economy in a kind of weird way, but I don't want to get into all this stuff. Now they're putting finished goods onto the market, like BYD cars that are better than Teslas. So they have a lot of economic heft that I think a lot of Americans can't see or fathom. But all these products that are highly technical take many, many countries working together. And that's the part that Trump is so fucking stupid. He doesn't understand how anything works. He thinks tariffs are good policy to raise money. He thinks tax cuts are going to work perpetually for rich people. It's just a total misunderstanding of how complicated the ecosystem of our economy is. Just my views.
No, I support, especially ethically. I guess I knee-jerk reacted to the idea that America could break the world. Like, that seems like a very America-centric thing to say. Like, we're such a weird-ass fucking country. We're like, we're the greatest country. No other country says that so much. Like, I guess I've always thought, well, we're not special. If we weren't there, somebody else would do it. Like, I could be wrong about that.
Lots of countries say we're the greatest. Some of them don't. But a lot of them do.
It's funny to me how we can give blame for fucking shit up so much, but then when we try to not fuck shit up, it's like, why do you think you're so good that you can fuck shit up?
So I have some old issues that I keep. Here's an old issue of Scientific American from September 2010, special issue. And I'm flipping to the how much is left in the environment section. Peak oil, they were forecasting 2014 would be peak oil at just under 80 million barrels a day. Well, we have 100 million barrels a day, and it's 10 years after that. So it's just, be careful what you base your statistics upon. Things change. The fracking revolution wasn't quite over when this thing was published.
What do you think of McPherson's claims about 2030 being the deadline for, like, if we don't fix our shit for the environment by 2030, then planet's fucked or whatever? I used to see those videos like back in 2020 during the pandemic. McPherson videos.
I don't know the specific reference, but I mean, it depends how you want to measure it. But there are different tipping points along the way that are going to fall like dominoes. Because I'm here in Central Texas. You remember hearing about the floods that killed all those girls? They just finally stopped their application to reopen that school. They're not going to do it. That's pretty crazy, but yeah. To think that
They wanted to put the school back in the floodplain where it got swept in the first place.
The air, anyway, yes, it only recently, Marshall's here, he could probably explain it. state approval to reopen it, and they finally, on like the second attempt, were convinced to pull the application. They were still in the process of trying to do it.
So I haven't checked the Texas on this NOAA map, but this is a NOAA map which lets you see where sea level rise will take place between 0 and 10 feet. Definitely bad news for lots of people.
What are you looking at?
The GIS map from NOAA, which shows there's a little slider on the left-hand side where you can plot what an
No, but what do you mean bad news for a lot of people? Give me the cut and dry fifth grader version.
Also,
Sea level
if the
rise
sea
will
level
block a lot of
rises,
people.
if the sea level rises 10 feet from where it is currently, imagine where you are.
Right.
I don't know if you're by the coast, but basically
I
anything
get
that's
that.
coastal.
I thought you said Texas was in real big trouble or something. I wasn't sure what you were.
No, I haven't looked at Texas.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Texas, and I was like, oh, really? What is that like? Okay, got it. Yeah, no, I mean, we already know climate change is a thing, and people refuse to acknowledge that. I got a lot of work done earlier in the day, and now I just can't keep myself up to do any more.
Rest is not a reward, it's a requirement.
Yeah, honey, I have to worry about clinicals coming up. Tired. My bed is very comfortable.
My tired brain is gonna have a harder time retaining information.
I don't know. Have you ever tried CoQ10?
Oh, you're the second person to mention that today. I actually know the man who brought it to the US. He just died recently, and I was at his memorial. Yeah, the family is set of family friends. So it's really weird when people are like, do you know of CoQ10? Yeah, like I know the people who helped bring it to market. Yeah.
Well, I guess that's a sign, huh?
A little bit. You're the second person today because we were discussing, my girlfriend and I went to go get pedicures today, and we were having these conversations about specific medical afflictions, and she was like, are you taking CoQ10? And I was like, you know how much of that stuff I have at my, house?
Since you brought up a molecule, I have to jump in. So, my understanding is that ubiquinol as opposed to ubiquinone is the preferred modality as it has higher bioavailability.
That sounds about right. I don't know all the pharmacological, mechanisms of action for CoQ10 at this point, but I just know that as a kid, it was brought home to my house like all the time as it was being discovered. So
Yeah, there's a lot of
marketed.
There's a lot of pharmaceuticals that deplete CoQ10 in various ways and affect mitochondrial function. So it is a really, really useful supplement.
Yeah, for sure.
What are the signs you need it or you would benefit from it?
I mean, in general, I think everyone can benefit from CoQ10. Do I know the contraindications? Not at the moment. I mean, it's helpful, but everything in moderation, right? Obviously, I'm not really sure of the contraindications for it off the top of my head at all. Actually, if I'm honest, I haven't learned the contraindications for it, so not yet. Can do. It's hard right now with the emphasis that social media and wellness grifters have on peptides without knowing what they're doing, without, having the purity of peptides going on right now anyways. There's a lot going on. Sorry. I just wanted to go smell my roses. That is all.
I always encourage people to stop and smell the flowers.
Yeah, I've got my orchids and my roses.
Do you close your eyes when you smell the flowers?
I actually do. They smell so good. They look so cute. They're like this bright pink color. I am so in love with them. They have made my day every morning.
Did somebody get you roses for your club anniversary?
I wish someone got me roses for my club anniversary. Shout out to everyone if you want to get me roses for my club anniversary.
Man, she didn't even know it was their club anniversary. That stupid blue showed up.
Yeah, I wished you happy club anniversary last night after, I guess.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I thought yesterday was it, but I realized now that it was probably after midnight your time.
That's so sweet, Otter. I appreciate it.
Okay, raise your hand if you check your club anniversary.
Dennis, you are just jealous that you are not getting love on your club anniversary.
It's not my club anniversary.
I'm very lovable.
Dennis, you have a gold medal. Come on, be happy with that.
Yeah, I don't. That doesn't make me happy.
one's a real gold medal. Lots of gold.
Those medals are, well, you know, their value goes up and down, but they have a constant weight to them. So yeah, I wouldn't mind one.
Well, they're not even real gold anymore. I was looking at something from the medals from like the, you know, like 1910 or something, 1920s, and they were actually,
It's not real gold anymore? That's not surprising.
yeah, it's plated. So I think you actually had, I don't know if it was actually solid gold, but you actually had like a worth a lot gold in like the 20s. And this last Olympics, it was just gold plated. Which I mean is still cool. Like it still looks awesome, but it's gold plated.
I got a gold medal coming in the mail tomorrow. Ha ha. Ha ha. It's not real gold. Pretty sure. Gold medal. Mailing it. It's the safe way to mail gold medal. Just ship it. Amazon sending it.
Oh, you mean like
You purchased something on Amazon? This is a shocker.
That's not what I said. I said Amazon sending it.
So, but you mean like a gold bullion or something, right? Not like a gold medal, like a sports medal.
No, it's actually a gold medal from Amazon.
What for? I'll bite. What for?
He got it from Amazon.
I completed a course with Machine Learning University, which is Amazon owns. So they send you out a gold medal and a club certificate. You know, doing the paraphernalia promotion thing.
Adorable.
I'm getting its gold stuff.
Find out how much gold is in that medal and then see if
Pretty sure 0 is the right number. Pretty much like this title. But the odds are it's less than 0. They're so gold that there's less than 0 gold.
You owe them gold for sending you the medal.
Now, if it's antimatter, that would be very precious. But it's antimatter gold.
No, seriously, the worldwide cosmetic supply of Botox fits into a 16.9 liter or ounce bottle of Coke or whatever bottle. I think less than half before it gets, you know, diluted down and supplied to the whole world. So if you think of how much revenue that generates,
What?
way more valuable.
That doesn't make sense.
Not way more valuable than antimatter. But
Definitely not way more valuable.
I don't know if you've got a buyer for that much of a market.
Antimatter is
Highly valuable.
almost infinity.
All that Botox gets sold on an annual basis. Who's doing what with that antimatter right now? You don't have customers.
Well, yeah.
Experimental, labs.
Right. But I just meant anyway.
But it's
doesn't
not
last
strong
long enough.
infinity.
You can't follow it, right?
Exactly. It's got infinity value.
I've got an NCAA championship ring coming my way. Yay.
Do a Google search and see theoretically if you had antimatter at like an ounce, what it would be worth. I'm gonna guess it would be hundreds of trillions of dollars.
There are valuations on antimatter, and
Give me the ounce.
it is the most expensive substance on the planet.
Right. Give me
It's
an
not
ounce.
really on the planet.
Transporting
That's kind of the trick question.
It's a store that's like.
Yeah, what's more expensive than nothing?
What's more expensive than the opposite of stuff? Yeah, so there was.
Can you get that on credit? What was the credit?
There was a recent, I saw a headline about an experiment with antimatter, and they thought it might have anti-gravitational properties, and that was not true.
We're gonna buy this gold bullion.
We're gonna buy all the gold. It's gonna be, I'm gonna put it on my toilet and take a giant shit all over my gold throne and ballroom.
So this is the thing that I think people underestimate, right? with the whole, what's the damn security thing I had posted earlier, this fake government thing, with the country's got to pay $1 billion each. I always forget the name. I mean, the amount of scammery, right? That has put his the peace club.
Yes, such a scam.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
because he couldn't get a Nobel Prize, so he made the Board of Peace.
But he gets this like when you start reading the details of it, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Like I heard it like 3 weeks ago driving in my car, I think, and I was like, yeah, this is fake news. This isn't real. And I was like, wait a minute, this is real? Like, how can this? Like, of all we always do that. We go, how could this be true with the Trump stuff? But like, how can this be true? Right? It's like, but then you stop and you think and you go, what world body would stop him from doing just about the most illegal thing that you can do as a president, right? Which is pull in money from other countries and put it into your personal coffer, which it essentially is, right? You created it. You're going to have a board just so that you can kind of get around saying that just you, but it's pretty much your thing. You're pulling in bribery money off the books, but creating an entity to say, well, China is on the books. This is the same dude. Right, this is the same dude who wants to have an external revenue service. It's just crazy, bro. But the amounts of money that he's brought in during his presidency, he's essentially now one of the richest people in the country, legitimately now. One of the, I mean, so before we kind of laugh and go, yeah, he's not the most powerful person ever. He's easily the most powerful person in the country, even with his unbelievably low popularity. So it's like, there's no way you are going to remove him from the presidency. He has to die, or he has to be arrested. He will not leave. Why would you possibly stop him? People go, oh yeah, that's not going to happen. Who's coming? What Batman is going to remove him from office?
Or he has enough cognitive decline that
Yes.
his party gets together.
No, his party doesn't have any power. Only
That's
the
true.
cabinet.
He's got
Only the
enough
cabinet
cognitive
has the power. It would have to be
decline that someone is going to eventually.
prove it.
How much worse
I know,
does
right?
it have to get?
They didn't even do it under when we didn't have a loyalist as Biden as president. When
Right.
people talked about cognitive decline, you're telling me that these people that are loyalty tested. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. I played the clip from Elizabeth Warren talking to the next Fed chair.
Yeah.
But he won't even say who won the 2020 election.
Well, but he does get to a point that's ridiculously bad where he can't, even utter a sentence. I mean, that would
You mean like Mitch McConnell bad?
Yes. If he gets the Mitch McConnell bad, it's a wrap.
Well, no, actually, it would be different because he has the vascular dementia. So
It'll just be a press secretary. We won't see it. If he goes Mitch McConnell, he won't appear anymore. It'll just be tweets.
All he's gonna do is kick out the squirrel, and he's gonna spend another 2 years.
well, no, I mean he's got some time left, but I mean the only concern with his cabinet is that he gets crazy enough that he might actually push the nuclear button.
He's that crazy now. He's been that crazy for a while.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like he's involved a little more. Like that might actually be something that he would do, and no one in his cabinet can stop him. So that's why they're advertising against. Well, J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio are kind of making a lot of visits with him.
They don't have enough.
But they are infinitely better people. There's nobody you can name who is I get so triggered on these people they're an awful replacement. They're fucking light years better. Light years.
Oh.
Give me the worst person in the country to be president. They're way better. Better. In a second. I would take it in a second. In a second.
Oh.
You know that Trump is Harvey Weinstein. What the fuck are you talking about? He's Harvey Weinstein and he's a fucking ridiculous dumbskull. You think Harvey Weinstein is as corrupt as him just because he's a racist? Trump's a racist and he's corrupt on top of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I feel like
Trump's the full Monty. He's the full Monty. He's a full-blown narcissist who has no moral compass whatsoever in every area, and he's as stupid as it gets. He's a loose cannon. There's nothing like him.
Yeah, well, who's head of the KKK? That guy might suck more.
have the resources.
Yeah, he's not going to be a billionaire. He's not going to be like worth $6 billion. I mean, Sheldon Adelson, like that kind of like, but you're not going to be stupid. You know, like he's the trifecta. He's the quadfecta.
Stephen Miller.
He's the full Monty.
Stephen
No.
Miller.
No, you
I'm
can't
just
do
saying
it.
he would be.
He's way too smart. He's way too smart. He's the clan, but he's way too smart.
He's evilly smart. He's smart in the way that people don't pick up on his evilness.
Yep. Give me him tomorrow. Sign me up. If I had to replace him with Stephen Miller, it's instantaneous. And by the way, Stephen Miller, right now that he's married and has kids, you know, he's not quite as clumsy as he used to be. I think he has kids. I think he has doing the family life thing.
He has a wife.
He's got the baby on the way. Remember when?
Yeah, there you go. It's good.
He had to get his wife off the. He was the one that reacted properly during the press event.
Sure. It's like now he has deep.
Didn't he grab his wife's boob? Or who was that?
He helped her off the stage, whereas RFK Jr. took his escort and his wife.
His wife had to run after him, RFK Jr.
Oh, come on,
Whoever you get, the thing is that people
Freaking
forget,
adulterer.
whoever you get tomorrow does not have the roots of Donald Trump. Donald Trump's roots run deep now.
Yeah, he's.
They're deep entrenched. He has more power than
Nobody has been talking to Putin for the last
That's right.
as much.
He's all over the world, all over the country. He's got his tentacles into everything. So it's like there's no comparison. All these like little wimpy, whoever you pick, it just doesn't compare. Unless we brought in like Putin to be president, maybe I'd still vote for Trump then. But I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. But in the country, people who could be, well, Trump could change it. Trump could probably make it so Putin could be president. That's how bad it is. And people are like, no, that's crazy. No, there's nothing. We have nothing. People are like, oh, we got a court system. Do we?
I think Trump should leave office and become president of Iran. Then you'll have like death threats daily, but you know, they can have him.
So, Pro, does the bunker get built?
The bunker that's supposed to be under the now $400 million ballroom.
It's a $300 million bunker and a $100 million ballroom.
I keep reading about this as it's possibly that. Do we have confirmation that it's that? I mean, all the articles speak very confidently, but do we really have evidence of that?
Evidence of what?
That's the plan? That the plan is to blow up the full bunker other than just we think that's a thing? There's like 5 or 6 articles that speak to this, but none of them say, we know for sure that it is a bunker.
It still is absolutely disgusting that he went and tore down the East Wing before even kind of getting any sort of permission to do any changes to the White House. He just was like, I'm just take down the East Wing. It doesn't matter. It's only been around since 1800.
Refuse to play into this productivity game. But then is looking at utility just another way of saying productivity, or is it, like you said, like doing things that aren't useful and my life isn't there? My gut instinct is to say, but maybe if whatever you're doing right now isn't useful to anything, including yourself, then maybe